Hey everybody, hey yo, hey Frosted Sentry. Today is miscellaneous day. And there's the today command. All right, so this says Wednesday. It's not Wednesday. Let's bump all of this down to Friday. And then as long as I'm at it, let's take a look. Monday is going to be tenets. When's the next mentoring and when is the next interview? Hey Smoo. Next, hold on a second. I'm always a little bit dense when it comes to times. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so next mentoring session is on Wednesday. Wednesday, mentoring Peter at 11. And then the next interview is the next week. So yeah, no, we don't have anything too crazy then. In fact, let me just write this down. Monday, the 8th, July 8th, mentoring Kyle at 11:30 a.m. and then Friday, July 12th, interviewing Mel at 1 p.m. Cool. Yeah. Holiday started today. I will be your motivational background noise. Well, you're actually first. You're the first to use the first thing. Yeah. You did it. You did it, Smoo. You've accomplished your dreams. Okay, so there's a bunch to do. I want to show where I left off here. I was working on the summon stuff in the last couple of days. So part of it happened off stream. And there was a lot of refactoring that needed to be done. And I potentially can't even show this right here. Yeah, no, I deleted it. Hey, Trackley. So I added in a summon ability, this one. And just showing the code is probably enough here, but I'll kind of go through this really fast. So there is now a summon function, and you can say what you want to summon. In this case, we have something called a summon test. And then you can modify it in some ways. So for example, you can say it disappears at the end of the current stage. So instead of lasting for the whole battle, it might just die at the end of the stage. You could say it's untargetable by enemies. And I tried this out and it's pretty cool because it makes it so that your summons pretty much can't die. But then you might want them to die anyway. So I also added this in, this sudden death. Oh, it's called sudden death buff. It should be called sudden death debuff. Get log -1. Yeah, that's a mistake. All right, undo last commit. Where is it? Here. And let's rename this. Oh, I have the file named correctly. I don't have this named correctly. Okay, this is supposed to be debuff. There we go. And then we just need to change these two things. Good, good, good. And commit that. Cool. They're doing like a couple months. Hey, Monetic Bind. How goes it? There. Use my special command. Yeah, so in the end, summons work. If I go to all adventurer data, maybe I can do a command Z here. Yeah, I can. Yeah, so check this out. So I think they are summons that'll get created. They die after 10 seconds. You'll just see it here. The bats will summon, yep. And then after 10 seconds, they'll die. And they can't be targeted by enemies, so they'll never die until that 10-second time is up. So yeah, the system is working. Yep, you see them start to disappear. And then once they disappear, their slot can be taken up by another enemy. So this is all exactly what you'd expect. Hey, Coffee. Good morning. On track for a public demo soon. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to learning how this genre of game actually works so that I can play your game. Because I knew nothing. None of the domain knowledge you need. And I'm just like, big numbers don't mean anything. Okay, so there should be a check after advancing a stage to see if the battle's over. It'll only be possible in very rare conditions. Yeah, this is a fail-safe method that we have here. Let's take a look. We're battlers from previous stage. Then we should probably do like a check for end of battle, yeah. Because it's possible that after removing them, you don't have any characters left. Yeah. So it's possible that the player has no characters left after potentially removing summons. some from the previous stage, at which point the battle should end. Crows, thanks for resubbing. Welcome back. 1 year. Hey, Half. Hey, Scott. How long is this game development going to take? I'm aiming for the end of 2024 to launch like V1, but that may be a bit tough. If you just look through, and not that you have access to this, but if you look through it on screen here, the backlog that we have, so there are 83 tasks. And I don't know how many tasks I'm getting done with per week, but how many weeks left in 2024? We have 27 weeks. So if we just did simple division here, 83 divided by 27, we'd have 3 tasks per week to launch by like 12/31. That would be probably pretty tough. I don't think we need to do everything, but I think a lot of this will be clearer as we keep going. So we launched checkpoint number 1. We got a ton of feedback. When I say a ton of feedback, I mean like probably like 45 responses, something like that, which is really good. So now for checkpoint 2, the biggest thing is going to be address that feedback. And then also add in some stuff that we had planned. And we can't address all of it. Some of it was like, hey, the game doesn't have music. Like I can't do that in the next 3 weeks and also address all the rest of it. So at least the majority of it. And we're just gonna keep doing that. So then checkpoint number 3 will be another like maybe 1.5 to 2 months from there. And we'll just keep addressing feedback, adding more stuff. So it's just keep repeating that until we feel like there's enough and that it's ready to launch. Like I said, I kind of expect it to bleed into 2025, but hopefully not by too much. All right, I want to test something out here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this sudden death thing and then go change the summon to do more damage. And is that it? This might work. Let's find out. I want to get into a very specific situation here, which might not be easy, but I want the rogue to die and its summons to live. It's not even summoning. I deleted that and I forgot that I deleted that. There we go. Okay, so it should start to summon. Good. And these will do a bunch of damage, but I want the rogue to die. So let's speed this up a little bit. It might not happen at this rate, at which point I'll just change the damage numbers. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Okay, fine. Let's delete this. Let's set this to 5. Actually, let's set this to 3. Yeah, there. Now it'll definitely happen. Finally a shirt with +2 colors. I only have so many shirts. All right, here we go. So now we're going to summon all these bats. They're going to do damage, but the rogue should die. Oh, come on. I should have just set this even lower. Yeah, all right, fine. The rogue is only going to die in the last phase. I needed to die in not the last phase, so the battle can end before then. There. Now this is guaranteed to work. Yeah. Because there's no damage lower than 1. So, yep, less than half-life. So this is going to die. Good. And now the battle should be lost as soon as we transition to the next phase. Because these bats are going to disappear. Yep, good. Perfect. No, wait. This is going to be a problem, isn't it? Check for end of battle. There. No, yeah, this will be fine. Yeah. There, red box. Okay, that's it. That's the whole change. Let's go check that in. Yeah, it's just this. Add check for end of battle. So it was possible that you could have invincible summons that would disappear at the end of the current stage or after some amount of time. Is that possible? There's a some amount of time. It would die. If it dies, it would trigger. Okay, yeah, that would all be fine. Yeah. So it's possible you could have invincible summons that would disappear at the end of the current stage. at which point you could be stuck in a battle if you had no characters entering the next stage. Yeah. Good, 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 good. That's done. Next, get summons to face the correct directions. The sprites themselves are facing a particular directions. I just need to flip them based on whether the player or the enemy. Then all of them should probably face the same direction. Bone pile and fireball should face that direction. Yeah, how does this work right now as far as, let me undo this stuff. Actually, no, I don't want to undo this stuff. Yeah, this is fine. Bone pile, where is that? Bone pile. Here. Do we change which direction this is facing? No, we don't. It just always faces left? That couldn't have always been the case, right? Battler.cs. Bone pile. Wait a second, was it always that way? Maybe the concept of this thing facing left is incorrect. Because it's just a pile of bones, and a pile of bones doesn't really have a facing direction, I guess. Let's go look at that. Oh, there. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a picture of this. So no, this is facing to the right. This is correct. Why did I say what I said about this? Where is that? Characters, maybe? Maybe temp? Okay, now I'm confused. How is it that this thing is facing that direction? Maybe Battler has a bone pile, and bone pile has flip H. Okay, got it. Dress him in a clown costume. I remember when I wore the LED strip on my neck. That's a very clown costume kind of thing to do. Hey, Toolshed. Oh man. All right, we got to change all of this stuff around. You can see these graphics are all facing to the right, and then this is facing left, and this is facing left, and this one is too. I think all of these should face to the right, because there's nothing saying which team this is going to be on. So yeah, let's go do that. There's probably a really quick way of doing this up here, right? Transform, flip horizontally. Yeah, that was easy. All right, overwrite. Cool, we need to do that with all of these. Not the customer, actually, that doesn't really matter. Well, maybe it will. But let's do it with this one. And same thing, transform, flip. Cool, and then save. I wonder why that was ever facing left to begin with. And that's probably pretty good for now. Do we have those graphics even in the game? No, we don't. We only have bats. What am I doing? Yeah, there's bat, bat, bat. That's it. Oh man. All right, so then that means that nothing's even using the monster graphic, right? Monster.png. This is, yeah, it's just not being used. Well, I think we only want animated enemies. So maybe we delete this one. Although, now that I think about it, let's go take a look at what we got in here. Maybe there are graphics for, how do I find this? Characters, monsters. Where's the, I want, oh yeah, okay. This is animated walking graphics, I guess. This won't work. Well, I don't know if it'll work. No, the bat has like an idle animation. Okay, I don't know. But yeah, I think we delete this. So we find monster and delete you. Cool. A use for test-driven development in games, maybe be suitable for simulation games, or is it just not worth it? I think test-driven development is something you can apply regardless of the domain. And I think for games in particular, it might make sense for some of the more sort of underpinning logic of the game. So for example, let's say, I don't know, you had a loot system or something like that, and you wanted to generate like a low level loot, high level loot, extra rarity loot or something like that, you know, whatever else. These are the kinds of things where you could say, okay, I know what we're trying to do, so let's write the test for it first. You know, func make sure low level loot works, and you say generate loot here level 1, and you make sure it's got certain items or whatever, right? That's the kind of thing that I think still works well for test driven development. Then you go write your code under test, and it just has to be game code. So I think it'd be harder for something where you're animating sprites. Like, that's harder to write tests for ahead of time, especially because it's like, what are the bugs that could happen there exactly? It's more like the animation system you'd want to write them for, and the engine should handle that. But yeah, nothing stops you from using it. Okay, so Bone Pile has not been changed. Fireball has been changed. Fireball is technically only used by one character right now, but it's the navigation system that does this thing. It has component, money component. So we need to have a, yeah, flip H based on direction. Let's go do that. Disappears. Save this as this. Cool. I found out there's a dialogue inside of VS Code somewhere. Where is this? There was like a save as that showed a name selection at the top instead of in the native menu. Okay, so indicates that an entity should be horizontally flipped based on the direction it's moving. Am I using composition to build the game or ECS? I mean, ECS is a way of doing composition, but yeah, there is an ECS that we made. And this is, yeah, that's why we have this component here. So for example, this component will get added to fireballs and to, I guess, customers, in which case I guess customers need to face the other direction too, huh? Well, I'll do that in a little bit. I'll just write down to make sure customers look like that. No, this is dumb. I shouldn't worry about customers. Yeah, don't worry about customers because we're going to replace their graphics anyway. All right, so the fireball, I guess really all projectiles probably fall into the same category of just flip them. Split keyboard, always want to try it out. I really like this. This is the corn keyboard. And I made this, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years or 3 years ago. It's really hard to remember at this point when, but I've been using it for a while. Was it hard for you to switch? It is a little tough to switch. And the other thing is I switched twice. I switched from like normal to split and then from QWERTY to Colmac, although this was later. So the normal to split is not as bad as QWERTY to Colmac. I feel like this took me about 1 year to do. And we are at the maybe 13 months after switching to Colmac. And I feel like I'm finally now typing almost like what I was at QWERTY. It's taken that long. So yeah, the normal split part isn't too bad. I think a lot of what you do, it's easier for English and harder for coding. Coding is tougher because you have so many other symbols and you want to use all those symbols. So for example, if I'm typing like function, I'm still just typing on the main layer. But then as soon as you write out the name of the function, then you want a parenthesis and it's like, okay, enter a new layer, press the key. And then maybe you want a curly brace, enter a new layer, press the key. So there's a lot more you have to do while you're coding. Why Colmac? Are there no QWERTY split keyboards? Oh, when you have a split keyboard, almost certainly you're going to have custom firmware on it. And the custom firmware lets you lay out the key map however you want. So in mine, for example, you can see here, I have QWFPB and then ARSTG. You could just set this to whatever you want. So you could make it just type the letter A for every single character if you want, or every single key. I mean, you wouldn't have a need for that, but you could, yeah, fully customizable. Yeah, I can't imagine having a split keyboard and not having it be fully customizable, only because typically if you have fewer keys, you need to be able to set what those keys are. Yeah, sorry, so that's why I put in the corn command. That's the keyboard I'm using is the corn. You got a video about it if you want. You've got the actual. Also, yeah, you don't need to type it again if you don't want to, but that's fine. Interesting that it has 3 rows. Yeah. Yeah, so in total it's 36 keys. And I mentioned this in the video, but you have 26 letters in the alphabet. So that only leaves you with 10 extra keys, which is why you need to use layers for these. So that way your, 26 base keys can still be used for all the symbols and numbers and your function keys and navigation and closing tabs and everything else. In the end, it all works pretty well. I like it. Yeah, the 4 rows, I think if you had 4 rows, you'd typically dedicate a row to numbers, but I find that you don't really need it. The nice thing about a layout like this is it already looks like a numpad, right? So like, why not, instead of these keys, have them turn into number keys? And that way it could just be like you have a numpad all the time. So I definitely like that. I think it's a nice system. And it's just kind of cool to use. It's fun to use. All right, so here I was going to say, let's do this. Let's go into ECS.add component. And we're going to add it to, what is this? Projectile, this new flip. There we go. Do I use any window manager? I don't really use a window manager specifically, I guess, but I have it right at the bottom of this. Like, what program do I use for whatever? The OS utility programs, these are probably what you're talking about. I use Alt Tab and I use Rectangle. And it's Rectangle that's letting me just move windows around or maximize them. And I also have those keys bound on my mouse, so I can just press some mouse keys and move around, chat and stuff, which is very helpful. But the biggest thing that I use is Hammerspoon. So I have a script here, window navigation. Yeah, that has all the different the apps that I go to. So for example, if I press Alt-3, it goes to VS Code immediately, and then Alt-1 to go back to Chrome. This is how Windows works, except for it's with the Windows key and not with Alt. And it's just like the greatest thing about Windows. It's so nice to just see really quickly what you're going to be navigating to. Yeah, I use Carabiner as well. I only use it for one thing though. And the one thing I use it for is that when I press, like I have a K key on my mouse. When I press shift on my keyboard, it can shift the mouse key as well. So that way, if I want to go to the beginning of this document, I have an up arrow on my mouse. I can press command on my left hand and then up on the mouse and it'll go back to the beginning. And that's the only thing I use Carabiner for, is that modifier keys apply to the mouse from the keyboard. All right, so we do this in the projectile. There was one other place I wanted to do this. I don't even know where it was. The bats, I guess? Yeah, the bats. Yeah. Where are the bats? Enemy battler, I guess? Yeah, I guess battler should have this. Okay, let's add this. Now something needs to use this. Oh yeah, and customers, I guess. Customers have a money component somewhere. Yeah, this. Got it. Now we go into this, and we just change the money component with this. Oh, then the question is, where do we actually get the sprite from? Whoops. Yeah, we've got to say what it is that flips. Yeah, whoops. Well, we could store that in the component. There's nothing that says we can't do that. Flip H based on component, and we pass in a sprite, I guess. Actually, let's go to Godot sprite 2D. What is the inheritance structure of this? Sprite does not show what inherits from this. Oh, no, it doesn't. Or maybe nothing does. Does animated sprite not inherit from sprite? Animated sprite. No, it doesn't. Oh. Ooh. Drat. I guess it's just a node, and node doesn't have a flip H or whatever, right? No, it doesn't. Oh, that's frustrating. Use it for nav without having to touch the arrow keys. But you don't even have arrow keys. Wait, so what do you do exactly, Monadic Bind? Do you have like HJKL set up to be navigation somehow? In like any program? Okay, this complicates things. IJKL, but yeah, got you. I see. And how do you activate that? Like, how do you tell it you're typing I versus you're typing the up arrow? It's a pain when you sometimes want an animated sprite 2D and sometimes want that. Yeah, what I guess I need is I need some like interface between these two that lets me have a flip regardless of what I'm doing. All right, well, what we're going to do here is we're going to pass in, do we even have the sprite? No, we don't. All right, well, let's do this. Sprite 2D sprite. Pass that in here. I still don't know how we're going to do this exactly. Control plus Alt on Windows with HK. Gotcha. Yeah. I see. Also try to apps, but then just use AutoHotkey in caps. Yeah, the apps key is actually kind of helpful on Windows. I don't know how many people use it, but it just opens up the right click menu, which a lot of times you want. Although I guess now I have a right click on my keyboard and I could just do that. So they both inherit from Node 2D, but Node 2D does not have a flip H on it. And that's what's unfortunate. I want this property so I can change this. And if they inherited from the same node and that node had flip H, I could just pass in that node. But since they don't, I need to pass this in as a node. Maybe that's what you were suggesting, and then cast. Yeah, I could do that. Node 2D flippable node. Yeah, and then store this here. Get init equals flippable node. Yeah. Yeah, do some casting. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do here, I guess. Then we search for all the instances of this and go replace them. Battler needs to flip its sprite and also its bone pile sprite. Oh, darn it. This is not gonna work. Well, technically it will in this case, but just because I'm relying on a hack here, we don't have a way to add multiple components of the same type, but we don't need to technically in this case. Okay, so if it has this, then we want to get this. So node 2D flippable node equals get. And then if flippable node is sprite, bool should flip equals that. Set this here. And then else if it is an animated sprite. Cool. That's it. Yeah, and I'll just make a private void flip H if applicable. Where does its velocity come from? Character.velocity. So we need to pass in the velocity too. Vector to direction. Yep. That's probably correct, but I've learned not to totally trust this and to just copy paste this in. And then we can simplify this a little bit. We can say flip H based on direction component, C equals get component or null. And then if it's null, then just return. That way we don't need to do this stuff and we don't need to do this. There we go. This turns into this. And that should do it. Now I just call this here. And I think we're good. So now bats should face the right way. Fireballs should face the right way. Customers are probably broken, but that's because I have the sprite facing the wrong way. Are they broken? Ooh, right. There we go. No, they look like they're correct, but how? Oh, they're probably flipped twice, if I had to guess. Are they? No, they're facing left here. What is going on? What is going on here? Does that mean that everything else is reversed, maybe? That's good so far. Bad so far. Oh, where are the bats? Monsters. Bat. Bat is facing to the left. Okay, drat. We need it to face to the right, but also we might need to change this. And I don't know how this is going to work. This is going to flip. I don't know. Let's just flip it and see. Whoops, Firefox. I didn't mean to click that. Is it opening Firefox? Yes, it is. There we go. Thanks for the feedback. Oh yeah, I hope it helped, Crud. And I hope you end up getting a job through this. I mean, like I said, it looks pretty professional and everything. It looks like you've got the skills. I think it's just a matter of finding the right people and then, of course, interviewing. And interviewing is never really fun. All right, we're going to set this to flip again. And then save this. And that will break things. Yes, this will definitely break things. Because both the player and the enemy bats were facing left. Which means this just isn't working. What am I doing wrong? I added this to Battler based on the sprite. The sprite is there. It's an animated sprite. All right, I think we'll need to do something here. Let's do this. Let's get the battle team component. This is a little bit weird, but I'm doing this for a reason. And we're going to say if BTC is a player to found ya, we're just going to break in right here. And that way we can debug this. In fact, we could have done this with a conditional breakpoint, but you know, whatever. Okay, let's go debug that. C is null. So I click this. Whoop. What's going on here? Value cannot be null component. Oh, because customer doesn't have this? Oh, yeah. Whoops. Get component or null. There we go. This is still going to be broken, though, because... Oh, wait, no, maybe it won't be. I don't recall if adventurers are given this on the overworld. They're apparently not. All right. It's not breaking in, though. That's strange. Hey, Weil. Or that's not how you pronounce your name. Let me know. It's almost impossible to know when I read someone's name. Why isn't logic to flip in the component itself? So the way that I look at the entity component system is the entities are just bundles of components, and the components are just data, and the systems are things that act on the data. So the only logic you'll ever see in a component is like the super straightforward like math logic, and every other component, like if I just go through pretty much any of these, like shop component just stores data, and town component just stores data. So yeah, components are just intended to be data. And I think this is, I mean, pretty much everything, yeah, just data. What am I doing wrong here that this isn't breaking in? Maybe I'm passing in the wrong entity. No, this is entity. Yeah. Okay. Let's maybe back up a step here. How would we tell if this is... Oh, wait a second. This is... Oh my God. I'm being stupid. This is only for projectiles. Because they have to be moving. This is the navigation system. So I maybe fixed the mage, but I wasn't testing any of that. I was testing a bunch of garbage. And I guess I should have been testing customers too. But I need to hire the mage and then start a battle. And the fireball should be facing the correct direction now. Yes. Okay. Yeah, well, whoops. So there's flip it based on the direction, and then there should be like a flip it based on the team, I guess. Or maybe we just set the direction. I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, there was this. I think we should just flip this once. But eventually, we might have characters moving between the different stages. And in that case, well, whatever, I'll worry about that when that's a problem, I guess. All right, then let's do that. if team is player. Actually, just set sprite dot flip h equals team dot player or team enemy. Yeah. Hey, Nuka. Excuse me. All right, now what's going wrong with a customer? Flip is never set. So then why is this the way that it is? Take a look. Yeah, customer is facing left. And it's said to flip when it's facing right. This is backwards, isn't it? Yeah, should flip is when direction.x is greater than 0. Should be less than 0 because they're all going to face the other direction. Oh, this is a real hoot. All right, open with GIMP and flip U and export U. All right, now let's take a look. So hopefully just everything in the game looks good. I think I fixed them, yeah. I spent a lot of time yesterday working on other stuff and not necessarily fixing that because I thought that was straightforward enough and obvious enough that I'd be able to do it today. And so that's why we're finally tackling it. Everything disappeared, which is a major problem. And it's because of this. And it's because we're in the wrong function. Yeah. So these typically get added before they get initialized. No, they get initialized before they're added in this case. Huh, yeah. Yeah, so we need to do this in ready then. In fact, this would have never worked. Yeah, well, shows how much I know. All right, team comes from the team component, which we can get from here. Yeah. All right, battle team component. Done. Team. Probably just rename this BTC. Cool. Let's try this out too. I mean, even if this has another couple of stumbling blocks here, I don't think this is going to take too long. All right, so do you shoot fireballs in the right direction? Yes. And do you summon in the correct direction? Yes. And I think that's it. And customers are moving in the right direction? Yeah. Yeah. All right, looks good. Is that everything? Flip. All player and enemy sprites should face the right direction. Bone pile and fireball should face in that direction. Flip. Don't worry about customers. I wrote don't worry about customers and then I worried about them anyway. But I guess it's fine. Yeah. So then we don't need this here. Yeah, we don't need this here. Customers move and projectiles move, but battlers never move yet. But they will eventually. But I'm going to worry about that eventually then. All right, I think we can check this in. Yeah. All right, so we flipped these. It's kind of hard to tell because I don't know how to zoom in. Oh, wait. Oh, there's a magnifying glass that only shows when you look at it like that, when you hover over it. Yeah, so these were facing left, now they're facing right. Same thing with customer. Yep. Same thing with fireball. Monster was deleted. In fact, monster being deleted can be its own commit. Remove unused monster.png. I still don't know if we have animation frames for that. And I don't know what pack it's even in to be able to tell. This is one of the problems with this stuff. It's like I didn't see a skeleton in here. I saw this though. This is probably the same general pack that it came from. So hard to tell. And there's like a million characters. So like, is it one of these? No. Let me see. I know I'm blocking this in my camera. Is one of these a skeleton? Oh yeah, there's a skeleton. Oh, so we did have a bunch of different frames. But they're all walking frames, and I think it would look a little weird if they were standing there in battle and they look like they were walking, but they're not actually moving. We'll probably need some idle animations at some point. And the new enemies have them. So yeah, remove this. This will undo. This will probably keep for now. What game engine is this? This is Godot. Did an idle animation of that guy a little while ago? The skeleton? Or the skeleton monster, I guess? Because the bat I'm aware of. Okay, yeah. The skeleton I probably missed somewhere. And I have a note to add in some of your other graphics. Where is it? Add proper rogue graphic. Oh, I want to show you all this. So Quickie Joe has been working on the artwork for this game, and I just got this. This is the first adventurer graphic that we have custom made, and it is the rogue. And I love it. I think it looks great. And I have not added it into the game yet, but I need to do that. So for right now, we're just making walk animations, but eventually we're probably going to need a little bit more, and I'll need to still think about that. Why Godot? I think there aren't like super compelling reasons in general. So one is I'm not super pleased with what Unity had done with their pricing, but that had happened after I'd already made the decision. It just further reinforced that decision. But it was a combination of familiarity and what's the word? Capability. So I think it can handle 2D games very well. And then also just some amount of like, there's no major specific needs for this game. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Well, I can, I get asked this every once in a while, like, why do you use X and why don't you use Y? And I much prefer it asked this way, I guess. So yeah, I've had a lot of people ask me things like, when I was on Windows, like, why aren't you using Linux? And it's like, it's sort of a leading question that way. Like, do you think I should be using it? And I had someone ask me before, I almost forgot that this happened. They said something like, why are you using Windows? They're like, I hate Windows. And I was like, why is your hatred for it a reason for me to not use it? Oh, Davey, thanks for resubbing. Welcome back, 2 years. Very, very nice of you. I don't know why it didn't make a noise. I don't know if it did for all of you. So yeah, we could add in, I gotta go find those graphics. Did I write this down here? Yeah, add monsters that Quickie Joe drew. So find the skeleton, since he made that too. It's going well. I've been working on Skeleseller now for however many days it says in the title, I guess 22 stream days. And we've got the foundation for a game. I wouldn't say we have a game yet. You could play for maybe like half an hour or 45 minutes, and then you'd run out of things to do. Do you need to pay to use the game engine? Godot, no. Unity, they have some agreement with it, like Unity pricing. I don't actually know what it is, actually. I said actually twice. Why can't I just click this link? There we go. I guess one of them is an ad link and one of them isn't. Okay, so this says it's free, but then they have some... Yeah. How does this... I don't know how this works. All right, anyway, I don't know. I thought there was some, like, once you make enough money, you can't be on the personal plan anymore. Is there a thing that it says about this here? I don't know. Anyway, that's Unity, though. I'm not using Unity. Unity is free until... I think there's something missing here. I just re-uploaded. Okay, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. He just put it back on there. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was till you gross 100K. Yeah. But I wanted to find it because I didn't know if that information was out of date or not. But for most people, look, there are two kind of just general facts. One is you probably won't complete the project you're working on. And two is it probably won't make a ton of money if you do complete it. So these two things, I think some people are maybe a little up in arms about like, well, after I made $100,000, I'm going to lose more money or something. It's like, you're probably not going to get to that point. And so I don't think that's a major reason to choose. If you're a big game company, yeah, you could probably count on it. Like Blizzard probably never makes less than $100,000 per game. Like that'd be ludicrous. They wouldn't have pursued a project if they thought it was only going to make that much, because that wouldn't even pay for one developer's salary for the time that they work on it. But yeah, hobbyist developers are rarely going to get to that point. Ouch on the first one. I mean, it's true, really. And I think people need to internalize this so that they make better decisions when it comes to working on something. Like when you think of what are you working on within a project, if you want to complete the project, it looks very different from if you want to have fun with the project. And when you're working on hobby projects, you're typically doing it for fun. So you're not focusing on what do I need to do to launch. But like at some point, if you're making, let's say, a multiplayer game, you're going to need some sort of account system. And account systems aren't fun to make. They're boring. Like, so you're not going to start a game and be like, I'm going to tackle this first. But if you are trying to launch the game, you would probably tackle it somewhat early on. 200K at the moment. Okay, gotcha. And thank you, Yo. How long did it take to use the split keyboard? I was just saying this earlier for just English words, pretty quick. For coding, probably about a month. Yeah, if you make even like $500 from your first game, you did great. Yeah, honestly, if you complete your first game, you did great. And I don't want to make it sound like these are measures of success exactly. You learning something from the game can be a measure of success. You having fun, you know, bonding with people. There's a bunch of different measures there. So it's not just, well, you were a commercial failure, so your game was a failure or something. I don't think you should measure it that way. I'm just trying to say that I think these are things that if you keep in mind, they will change how you make business decisions. And one of those business decisions is which engine to use. What's my words per minute before and after? I don't exactly have that generally available. Let me see where I had this. I'm just trying to find a command. Anyway, I do have a WPM command, but it's a joke. All right, we still need to check this in. I guess I should click these plus buttons on everything except for the adventure data. So it indicates that an entity should be horizontally flipped based on the direction it's moving. Sounds good. Cool. Navigation system no longer needs this because I don't use the team. And the stuff looks good. Yeah, I guess we should put an else here that throws an error. Throw new, yeah. There we go. Check that in. Check this in. Check that in. This is a sprite though. Where do we don't ever do this for animated sprites, but we might in the future. We just don't happen to now. Okay, so flip sprites based on movement direction. This applies to customers and fireballs for now. However, I also flip summons. What about adventurers? No, I don't do that. Oh, no, I also flip battlers based on which team they're on. I do not flip bone piles because they only show for adventurers, so they only ever need to face right. But that's just a coincidence right now. Cool. Yeah, so now it's just investigate the leaks that show up when we close the game. And I guess they don't show up in here, or maybe they, I don't know how you find them. Let me just try running and we'll just click a couple things and see what happens. So I'll increase the game speed. All right, now if I close this, does it print it somewhere? It doesn't from here, but it does when I run it through here. Huh. I wonder how you get that information. All right, let's do the same thing. We'll just start a battle, wait a second, and then close this. Huh, doesn't say anything. I don't think I fixed anything. Maybe it's only when a battle finishes? Let's just let these run for a little bit, I guess. Okay, battle won. Battle lost. Battle's about to be lost. Yeah. And then let's exit this. Huh. Doesn't say anything. Maybe... I don't think I fixed this. Run with profiler on. You can see orphan nodes. Okay, let's go take a look at that. Profiler. Start. All right, now we do all the usual things, click all these buttons. Then maybe start another battle. There we go, and choose win. Start another battle and choose lose. And then stop the profiler. Was this the wrong profiler? Was it supposed to be? Yeah, I think this is just a performance profiler. Hey, Darkstorm, still sick? Oh man. Monitors. Memory. Orphan nodes. Oh, here it is. Got it. At least you can hear better. Yeah, that is a benefit. Thank you. All right, so I think this happens when you enter a battle. So I will start a battle and we will win the battle. And orphan nodes is still 0. So maybe we start a battle and then we get to the next phase in the battle. Okay, it's 24, 48, 72, 96. Given how that went up, I would guess that this has to do with the floating text, actually. Huh. Let's try something. First, let's run that again. Can we clear this? How do you clear this? You can't. Well, anyway, it's 96. So let's just start a new battle. Yeah, so it's going up. And we're going to make it so that we just don't even do anything in here. So we'll just say if text is not equal to hello world, then return. There. So now it won't do anything. Oh, wait, it's got to return a floating text. Drat. Oh, no. I wanted to not have that happen. Okay, how about this? How about public static floating text f equals new? Can I do that? And then just if text is not equal to hello world, return f. This won't work. There's no way. Because we try adding this to a scene or something, right? I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Why do we use what's returned from here? Or do we never use it? No, I don't think we ever use it. Loading text.create. All right, check this out. We just search for all of these. We do one of these, and then this, and then this. Yeah, it's never used because we only ever call it and then don't capture its value. Yeah, so then we don't need to worry about this. In fact, we could potentially have returned null, but let's try this out. Must be the summons. It could be the summons, but it's strange to me that this would be at 198 because I only ran 2 battles. But that's true. If this didn't show up for you, I don't know. Maybe it's something new. but we'll hopefully get to the bottom of this soon enough. Debugger, monitors. Okay, so we have one orphan node, which is that static floating text that we added, I guess. All right, increase game speed. It's still rising. Interesting. It must have something to do with the battle then. But I wonder what. Okay, well, let's go take a look. So I think we can delete this. I don't know if it was rising by the same amount, but I guess we can always just put that code back if we want to. What happens here? Quick strike. No, not quick strike. Debug summon. If I got rid of summon stuff and then ran this again. How did I do what? The multiple cursors thing? Because I can show that. Let me try this again. All right, so now no summons are happening and no orphan nodes are happening. So yeah, the two are probably related. The big new feature I worked on is causing leaks. Yeah. Am I just removing the child from a tree? I probably am. Yeah. It was happening mid-battle. Let's see here. Create battler by enemy ID. We have a battler, we init them, we return the battler so that we can add them to this so that we can... Oh, I thought of some things I need to do. Probably need a dispose for a battle. Wait, no, if they've never been added to the tree, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Yeah, we gotta get to the bottom of this. Yeah, June. What happens when a summon dies? Same as a battler. Yeah, although these leaks are happening, or well, the orphan nodes are happening before that. Like, the summons aren't dying. I wonder if we could just... Okay, I have an idea. Okay, so first, oh my God, I'm messing this up. I meant to go over and look at the profile already. Wait, what? These aren't untargetable? Debug summon. Oh, they're not untargetable because I deleted the untargetability of it. Whoops. Also, Rainix, I didn't hear an answer to the question, but when you asked how did you do that, what are you talking about? And let's try it again. For whatever reason, when I try snapping this window to the right, it's sometimes like very laggy. I was just about to show you. I don't have my... There, it wasn't laggy that time. I was gonna prove that it was laggy by not having my hand on the mouse. All right, so orphan nodes. Check if you were using the value in every place. Yeah. So that was just me searching for... There is this function here, create floating text. And the only way to call this, since it's static, is via floating text dot create floating text. So I just got every single instance of this. So now it's over here on the right in the find all. This is all pretty straightforward so far. Clicked open in editor. And then using multiple cursors, you can select text and then find all instances of it. So it's Alt F3 by default. And then once you have all of it selected, you can just navigate to the beginning of the line. And if we had seen a user of this, we would have seen something like, F equals floating text, but we didn't. Now, technically, this could have been on a previous line. So this is line 245. We could have seen line 244 could have said just F equals. But because of how I know my formatting rules work, we would never have code like that. It would always be on the same line. But that wasn't the problem anyway. All right, let's try this again. So start battle. What's strange to me is this is now not going up. Maybe it's only, no, now it just went up. Oh, because that died. Yeah. Okay, so it's when something dies. Okay, this happens when a summon dies. And it dies due to sudden death. Sudden death just calls insta-kill, which calls killed, which calls death handler. Dead battlers I add. Then in process, we remove this, remove dead battlers, which calls wait, no, it's not called on death. It's called on disappear. Because battler has a new thing that I added, which is right here. Unfinished called disappear, which calls disappear over here, which is only listened to on the battle system. Here it is. And yeah, we just call remove child. Yeah, I guess we also need to free it. Battler.free. Okay, that probably fixes it. Okie dokes. Let's try that out. Just increase game speed. Orphan nodes is 0 and still 0. Yeah, good, cool. Queue free instead of free. I don't think I should need to queue free it because something's still going wrong. Oh wait, no, it freed itself up after. How could it be orphaned and then unorphaned? Yeah, I think I can free it immediately because it's not showing in the scene tree at all. Strange. I think there might still be a problem though, but it's hard for me to know for sure. So I guess we need to put ourselves in the situation where I think there might be a problem. I think I'll do this after the break though. So where I left off, try incurring a problem with, what's it called? Dead battlers. Yeah, that. This. If there are any dead at the end of a battle, is there a problem? And maybe there is. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to take a break. So I will be right back in a few minutes. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Hey, everybody. I mean, okay, so Rainix, look at the games played 187, 72. Toolshed's actually got a pretty good record. Three games and 2 wins. Pretty nice. All right, we'll close the game. All right, so try incurring a problem with dead battlers. How do I do this? I guess we just never add the summon to a fight, for example. Yeah, what if I just never do anything about this? Yeah, then what happens? It would be nice if when I started this up, it just stayed on the same tab it was on. I don't know why it moves. I have to, well, I guess I only have to click debugger. All right, so this thing wants to summon, and it isn't actually summoning anything. And at the end of the battle, is it free all of this? No. Yeah, I thought this might be a problem. Okay, so then we need a dispose or something like that. Yeah. Public void dispose. Or is there already something like that in Godot? Godot on free or like pre-signal using signals? Free signal is probably not a good thing to search for. Like, is there like a dispose signal or something like that? Why is this such garbage? More events and signals. Huh. That seems like a problem. There's exit tree. Is that what's done on free? Handling quit requests. It's not exactly that I want. Oh man, come on. How hard is it to find the official documentation for this? It's probably because it's got an underscore in the official one. Godot exit tree. Node. Okay. Yeah. Now how do I go to the newer documentation here? Stable. Exit tree there. So is this done only on freeing? Upon freeing, scene changing, or after calling remove child? How do I know on freeing that something has happened? Huh. I don't know how to check for that. Maybe there's a notification for when something has been freed. Maybe we can find them through here. Pre-delete. About to be deleted. Can act as a deconstructor of some programming languages. Okay, that's, I mean, a little weird. Yeah, I guess we use it here. So we would override this for battler, or no, battle system. So how about we do that? Excuse me. And then put a private void dispose and write our code there. Okay. Dead battlers. So we go through all of these and I guess free them. Am I making a game? Yeah, I am. Check out this. There we go. It's got a quick FAQ about the game. And I mean, if you wanted to, technically you could play, but I don't recommend that. Why? Because I want to. Yeah, so I want to free all of these. I want to free the summon battlers as well. I guess let's just copy paste all of this. And I'll put this into dispose. So we'll just paste this here, get rid of the function, delete this, delete this, delete this, battler.free, and there. Actually, we could just concat these because it's not like we're going to do anything else with this. Why do I want to? I'm not even totally sure how to answer that. Like when you pick what you want for lunch, if I asked why did you get that, you'd be like, yeah, I want to eat that food. If I'm like, why do you want to eat that food? Would you be like, I'm craving this flavor profile today, or like, what kind of answer are you looking for? Maybe then I could help. All right, hides Godot object dot dispose. Oh, is it? Can you just override this? I wonder. Fame, fortune. I just think it'll be fun to make a game. Yeah. I'm not doing it for fame or fortune. Godot, C#, dispose. Yeah, let's see. Directly or indirectly implement iDisposable. They also provide the free method. Now let's see. Line calling you consider for every object you have in C#. Godot has another native object linked. It's just a bridge between them. You can override it to safely dispose another object if you need it. Oh, so we can just override dispose. Excuse me. Man, I thought this cough would have gone away already. It's been like 2 weeks. Actually, yeah, it's been like longer than that. Two and a half weeks. It's not like you have direct access to the physiochemical processes going on in your body. I do. Hey, Fled. Why is your game fun? That's for the user to decide. I was talking about it's fun to make it. Man, I cannot wait for this thing to end. Oh, at least it's not bad, and at least I feel like I'm able to work. But yeah, I don't think I've had a cough for this long in a very, very long time. Yeah, this is the part that I was thinking about, which is that even with orphan nodes, if there's no reference to them, they should still be disposed, right? To the point where I'm not really sure this is a major problem. Put more code in there to dispose. Don't forget to call base disposing inside. Okay, let's take a look at that. Zlad, I think people can decide what that reason is. And if nobody tries it, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not doing it for fame or fortune. Commented on new issue. Maybe we could bug quickie for a quick image. Yeah, I got to take a look at that at some point. Let me write that down. Look through GitHub for issues and PRs that I haven't responded to. I haven't really been on top of that stuff. I feel like I spent yesterday mostly working on the refactoring, and I usually spend it for catch-up stuff, and that wasn't really catch-up stuff. Oh wait, there's no override of dispose? This inherits from node though. Does node not give us this? Godot node. Here it is. Do we have a dispose, or would this not even show unless it's in C#? No, I guess I didn't see that. Implement iDisposable. But is this the best way of doing things, I guess? Different behaviors can be achieved if you call the free method, object will be freed immediately. Sometimes you can't use it. Use queue free. Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure this is needed. Hey, Complex. Bit of a doozy, and I'm hoping you can help. Started a project in Python a while back, trying to pick it back up. Can't remember my VM name. Is there any way I can get a list of my VMs? Isn't it stored right in a folder inside the project. I'm pretty sure Python stores them alongside that. VM location. I guess you could have created it in a different path, but you should be able to find the path in general where you've made it. Yeah, the very first thing I try is something you probably already did, which is just an ls-la. Been through the files, but I can't find it. Huh. Here's in a global folder. Yeah, if you have something like a global folder, though, I imagine you could just look through those. But it's possible, I guess, that you don't have it or it's been deleted or something. Yeah. I'm not super convinced about this stuff. I want to read more about this orphan nodes. This is gonna load. There we go. Nodes are not in the scene tree. Oh, you can call print stray nodes to see a list of them. It's not very descriptive unless the node names have been set. Oh, that's pretty interesting. That's actually really interesting. The thing I don't totally get, though, is when there's no longer a reference to this, they should be cleaned up, right? Oh, I guess not. Okay. So wait, print stray nodes. Can I just call that from somewhere? It's probably engine.print? No. Print stray nodes. I don't see where this function exists if it exists. Finding orphan nodes. Print orphan nodes. Oh, yeah, there it is. Not print stray nodes. They probably renamed it in the last few years. Okay, so I want to see where this is called. I wonder if we should also implement iDisposable here. Node implements iDisposable. Yeah, I wonder if they hide the dispose call, because Godot object is what I can't go to that. But yeah, Godot objects is what has it, but they might make it protected or private so that I can't override it myself. That's what iDisposable gives, right? iDisposable interface, public void dispose. Should not be able to override this method. But then there's protected virtual void dispose. Yeah, and I guess they did not make it overridable. Unless, I don't think that matters. Oh wait, there we go. Okay, fine. All right, so this is what I wanted to do here. And then I guess delete this. And yeah, let's try that out. So we should not see orphan nodes anymore. Oh, sorry, I didn't see what you said, model. I've had a cough for a week and a half. Yeah, I think a lot of people have been getting sick lately. Did I change my error lens settings? For what? Because I didn't change anything as far as I know. All right, increase game speed. It's going to think I have orphans until the end of the battle. When the battle gets disposed, it should free all of these. Because it's trying to summon. Did it free them? I don't think it freed them. I wonder if this is getting called. Dead battlers.concat, battler.free. Yeah, I'll put a breakpoint here. I need to make bats do more damage or something so that they die faster. All right, so battlers just summon should have a bunch of things. And I just go through this and I call free a bunch of times, right? Yeah. So why are they still orphaned after that? Oh, that's why. Oh, because it's already, it thinks it's disposed already? What? How does it think that? Yeah, what? That means I must have been getting errors over here? Yeah, I did. Yeah, cannot access a disposed object. Whoops. But it wasn't disposed. Hey, Jordy. Base stats disposed after. But I guess what I'm thinking about here is like, okay, let's say I just delete this entirely. Now I'm doing nothing to try to free up these orphans. So if they're already getting disposed, it would mean I don't have to do anything anyway. Isn't it getting cleared every frame? Yeah, it is. The reason I'm doing this is because it's possible that a battle ends before that process is called, or that, yeah, it's possible the battle ends before that, and there was a dead battler from an ability, I guess. Let's see. Oh, I should have been looking over at this, I guess. No, it's the things that they're orphaned. I don't know. Anyone have any advice to make an apartment less depressing? Did plants do the trick for you? I think some amount of customization helps. I think light also helps. Let me think of what else. Yeah, some amount of personalization, customizing, whether plants, artwork, just stuff that you like. But part of it could be completely unrelated to what's actually there. Maybe it's how much time you're spending there. Maybe the goal is to find a third place. Lightning. Just contact Zeus, Zeus Enterprises. Get them over to your place. Yeah, it says this has already been disposed. I must have messed something else up then. Yeah, the working from home part. Okay, so you need a second place then, not a third place. Yeah, I think just kind of going outside. The other thing I think is that just seeing the sky and seeing some plants and everything. I think going for a short walk. It almost makes me think, if you work from home, you essentially don't have a commute. I mean, you could think about it like walking from room A to room B. But what if you add a commute, and we put this in quotes here, and it's just a 10-minute walk or something like that. I feel like this could probably be really helpful for a lot of people, just to separate the day for you and also then get you some outside time. Yeah. Going up my stairs is commute enough for me. Yeah, I think taking walks throughout the day is just really, really, really good for that if you're home too much. Yeah, well, going from your bed to your desk is just not a long enough amount of time unless you crawl your way there. So that's another idea you could do is crawl around the home, and then it'll take you long enough to get to places where you'll feel like, okay, that was my commute. If anybody asks you, just say, oh, some random person online told me to do this. I'm still not sure why this is happening. I'm gonna delete this part for now, and I want to try it. I want to try this again. Yeah. Have I looked into print straight nodes? There's print. I think it's been changed to print orphaned or print orphaned nodes. I haven't looked into that yet because I know exactly where this node is that's being orphaned. But the problem is I don't know why it's being disposed already when this battle ends. Can I just click win all battles? Are you kidding me? Oh, wait, no, maybe this is fixed now because it was only for dead battlers. Ah, yes, I think that's the problem. But let's make sure that's the problem and just wait for this thing to finish. Yeah, that was the problem. How is that happening then? When this said dead battlers, it was... dead battlers. These are ones that have been added already, I guess. Oh, because the final battler to die has not been. Okay, I see. Oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? We need to know which ones haven't been freed. Which ones haven't been added. No, all dead battlers would have been added. This is nonsensical. Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah. Like one room, got to break up the habits. Yeah, and that's what I think the real problem is. I honestly don't think the problem is that your apartment itself is depressing or not depressing. I think it's that you're just there too much, probably. And there are these ideas that people have had online, and these are serious. That are things like, okay, if you only have, let's say you had two rooms to dedicate rooms to activities. So you have a work room and you have a non-work room. But for people who don't have two rooms, what they said is you can you can have something like a work light. You only turn this on when you're working, and then that's enough to signal to your brain, I guess, that like, okay, now I am in work mode, and then you turn off that particular lamp. And for a lot of people, I mean, this is a very cheap option, right? A light doesn't even need to be a proper lamp. It could just be like a different colored bulb you put into a socket somewhere. It costs like $2. um I haven't tried that exactly, but I have tried things like, I sometimes do work on this computer, and then I have a laptop that when I want to do something else, I try to use the laptop. That sometimes helps. But I honestly, I think the clear cut solution is just like go outside more, go to someone else's place. When it's orange, I'm cooling off. When it's in candle mode, I need to go to bed. Yeah. And that sort of thing happens for a lot of people on their devices automatically with the, what's it called? Like the blue light limiters, like Flux, and I think most phones just have this built in now. That when you see it shift and it starts to get a little bit redder, you're like, oh, must be late. Workout, reading, eating, watching shows. Yeah, yeah, and I think if you can manage that, that's probably ideal. But for the people who can't, these tricks apparently do help. Like I said, this is not a joke. The joke was crawling between your rooms earlier. Did I hear flux capacitor? No, just flux. In fact, I think it's called F lux. All right, so we fixed this. I guess we'll just have to keep an eye on this in the future, but I think this should be good for now. And I don't think the order we call base dispose in should matter too much. So battlers who were summoned but haven't had a chance to be added yet need to be freed. But this wasn't even the problem that I ran into, right? Debug summon. No, this wasn't the problem. We still have a problem somewhere. I don't know where. Where did... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No, this is good. Okay, yeah, let's try this out again then. Lux didn't darken my screen enough. That's what it did. I call it Q free and put references to null. Don't know if it applies here. Yeah, I need to free these. I'm not sure I fixed the problem or if I was working around a different problem at this point. So let's take a look. Orphan nodes is 0. And it's still 0. Okay, now let's just do a bunch of random stuff in the game. So we'll click start a bunch of battles. It's just a rogue that can't win battles because it's summoning a bunch of stupid bats that die. Excuse me. These bats are so bad. All right, now all my characters are dying. All right, let's put some points into some of these skills. There we go. Oh, nice. They're burning now. They're gonna lose. Yeah, they lost. All right, well, that's why we had this debug grant points that lets us just put extra points into stuff. Try and stop me now. There. Now they should win. Oh, yeah, they're destroying. And that's what happens when you cheat. So orphan nodes did go up to 20, which is a problem. So we got to figure that out. If Godot has a print, whatever, print orphan nodes, why can't it just show me here in this thing? Can I run arbitrary? No, I can't run stuff. Indeed. All right, well then I need it so that you can do this somehow. Let's search for when you press, what is it, key Q, input debug? Debug? Here it is. Okay, so every time you press this, we'll just call print orphan nodes. Now, unfortunately, after all of what I was just doing, there were only 20 of them. That might be a little bit hard. The errors would give a clue. Oh, yeah, oh my God, I didn't even see 961 errors. Oh, I am a smart cookie. Yeah. Let's run this again. Yeah, here we go. All right, what is going on? This is some cannot access a disposed object. This is probably coming from the disposed thing that I added. Battle system, remove dead battlers. That's not good. This only happens from process. If cookies were categories by intelligence level, what cookie would be the top, and why did you think fortune cookie? No. Fortune cookies would not be at the top. What cookie would be at the top? What's the most intelligent cookie? I feel like it's a very complex one with layers. Here's the first one that came to mind. I'll show you a picture. This would be the most intelligent cookie. There, I've done it. Solved man's greatest puzzle. Well done. Thank you. This is my life's work. I must have just broken this. Remove dead battlers. There was a battler that was already freed somehow. So that in remove, we can't actually access this. But the only place we can free a battler... Milkman, thanks for subbing. Welcome. Loudest cookie. No, you're wrong. My life's work. It came to this. It can't be wrong. They're good cookies too. Hey, Rohit. Saying hi to more than just the bot there. Yeah, the only place I'm freeing this are in battler disappeared. Okay, wait. Wait. Could this happen in a different order then? I'm not sure. We could print out nodes and I could have a bunch of debugging information here, but I think what I want to do is just figure out what was the repro of this. Like it wasn't just from starting a battle, right? Because I think I ran this to completion and everything went fine. I think it was from a different battler, but I'll let this exercise the whole thing. There we go. Yeah, no, that's fine. So then maybe get another adventurer and run 2 battles. Does the mage work okay? No, the mage is breaking everything. That's bizarre. Oh, I know why. Yeah, I know why. Battler has a tween in here that takes place over the course of 1 second, but I'm increasing the game speed, and we normally have a 2000 millisecond delay, which is 2 seconds, which is obviously greater than 1, but I'm increasing the game speed beyond 2x. So we are deleting the enemy before we're having it disappear. Wait, right? Yeah. So we're trying to free it twice. Okay, yeah. I got it. Now, why does that only happen with the mage? Oh, it only happens with the mage because the rogue dies. Okay, I'm gonna give a point to Void because I wasn't looking at the errors, and this did lead me to the right thing. So thank you, Void. Yeah. So that's our problem. How do we fix this now? So advance to next stage calls remove battlers from previous stage, which is what's going to free these. And then at the end of the battle, wait, let me write this down. So mage kills bat. We call advance to next stage. And I guess this triggers a 2-second fade out, after which we'll call disappear. We call advance to stage. This takes less than a second and calls, yeah, remove battlers from previous phase, which is going to free them. I don't need to write this out. I guess I could just take it from here. So we have 2 frees. How do we stop one of these from happening? I have an idea. We can just cut out the tween if the entity is freed anyway. Yeah, this. Tween. Yeah, protected, override, dispose. Well, we do need this still. Oh my god. All right, there. Now we need to save off this tween. So private tween, disappear tween. Actually, this can just be null. And then when we set this down here, we set this to this. And down here, we do if this is not null, then queue free. Actually, just stop it, right? Is there a stop? Or is there like a terminate or something? Cancel? I think it's just, wait, what's cancel free? No, just stop, I think is probably fine. Yeah. All right, now protected members should come before private members, sure. Put this up here somewhere, there we go. Okay. Two and a laptop and you need another? I've never found a good use for 3 for myself. I feel like if there's a third monitor, then I only want like persistent information on there. As in, I never use it for different windows. I always use it for, let's say, like chat or a clock or something like that. All right, so we gotta get 2 adventurers. We gotta increase the game speed a bunch. We gotta start 2 battles, and let's get a 3rd adventurer. No, wait, let's start a new battle. There we go. That is still breaking, which probably means that I'm still doing this wrong. I just hate alt tabbing so much. Yeah, but I think there's a trade-off between like turning your head physically and just maybe managing your windows a little differently. So for me, instead of alt tabbing, I just go directly to an application like Chrome, VS Code, Terminal, Obsidian, which is over here. And that way I can just always press a key and trust that I'm in the right application. And it makes using, I have like 1.5 monitors because while streaming, I can't show you what's on both. So I keep chat on my 2nd monitor. So yeah, that's why I say it's like 1.5. I'm guessing this isn't being called. where I expect disappear tween not stop, or this isn't actually stopping a tween. Wasn't there a way of like canceling it? I did this in floating text, I think. Or maybe it wasn't there. No. It was in the nudge text. Kill. What's the difference between kill and stop? Aborts all tweening operation and invalidates it. I think that's what I want. But what does stop do then? Stops tweening and resets it to its initial state. Okay, I guess I just want to kill. Does that fix this? I see what you're saying, complex. Yeah. I mean, also, if it works for you, it works for you. All right, here goes. Do we fix it? No, we still haven't fixed it. And, all right. I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong. Because I thought this was the problem, although I guess there's a race condition either way. Either this one completes first or completes second, and I only accounted for completing second. But it might complete first, in which case the battle system needs to change. Because disappear will get called, which will free this. And then I guess if it was in the dead battlers that we just remove it from dead battlers, that might fix it, although it's not going to be obvious. I'll need a comment there. I hope I'm even addressing the right thing right now. Yeah, that fixed it. So then if I do this more slowly, then we should have the other problem that should also be fixed. So I just need to wait and see, is there any red over here? No, I think it's looking good. Yeah. All right. Nice. All problems solved, right? And no more orphan nodes. Nope. All right. Well, let's go through our little test of like grant a bunch of points. Just give you 5 points in Cloak of Shadows. Increase power and dodge bonus. Okay. I'm gonna put a bunch of points in it. Whoops. I'm pretty sure that would have just broken something. Huh, no. Those skills don't exist. Okay, just give you all the points. Probably make something that lets you put in like 10 points at a time. Come on. There we go. Now start this battle. I'll speed this up. Does it still work on higher speed? I believe so, yeah. There are no debugger things here, and there are a few orphan nodes that'll hopefully get deleted. No, they're not getting deleted. But now we can press Q and print out what the orphan nodes are. They're all fire. And 2 animated sprites. Those I'm not so sure about, but the fire at least. Okay, that I can clean up. So it's possible that the battler is part of dead battlers, in which case it would be double freed. So, oh, wait a sec. Oh, I know what's going on. This is because I'm removing a battler. Okay, I know what's going on. We need to do the same thing that we do for dead battlers, which is this. We need to remove all effects. That's why fire is happening the way it is. Okay, I have a better idea. Maybe. Do I? I want everything to flow through one system here. battler star removed, dead battler star removed. So there's a concept of an enemy dying and then an enemy getting completely removed from battle. And adventurers that die turn into bone piles because maybe they can get revived at some point. But when a bat dies, it just gets deleted. So first an enemy had to die. Oh, wait. When they die is when that should happen. And then they disappear. I'm going to try something. I don't know if this is necessary. And I don't think it should be. And I'm just going to write a comment here. I don't think this should be necessary because any battler that disappears should have died first. Let's try that out. Yeah, unfortunately, we need to put points into burn for this to happen at all. Like, I don't know how specific a repro this is. This is happening now. $334. Oh, whoops, that's my bad. This should have just gone up here. It's a minor problem. Okay, let's see. Any orphan nodes? Okay, 2, 8. Oh, that's because the battle's still going on. No, there are still a couple. And it's just fire. Maybe nothing actually removes this. What is a fire component? There is no fire component. It's an effect. Fire effect? Burn effect? Burn debuff. There it is. So when removed from entity, remove the fire sprite. And I guess nothing frees it. Yeah, I guess nothing frees it. So maybe I should have just done fire sprite.q free and just delete that. Because I think freeing something also removes it from the parent. Yeah. Maybe we have this problem elsewhere too. Let's go take a look at all of those. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. 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 Held item. Only because the items get put down somewhere. Yeah. Remove child. These never get fully deleted, huh? Yeah, if we ever did delete this, we would need to free the navigation agent. I wonder what even has this. Oh, customers have that problem. Oh, that would have been another leak that would happen. That should be fixed now. And that should be everything. Walk animation system. Yeah. Okay, I think that looks good. We still have one other problem though. There was an animated sprite that somehow leaked earlier, but did not have a name. Where are all the animated sprites that we use? The fire sprite. Oh, this is not needed. The fire sprite, this is named sprite or something, right? Battle. Yeah, this is named sprite. Any other ones? What am I typing in? Animative sprite. All right, what else? This shouldn't be a problem. Not a problem. Character body is an adventurer. Wait, so I need to look at adventurer. I looked at battler. Adventurer and worker. What do those have? Adventurer. It's called animated sprite 2D. Maybe we call this like adventurer sprite. Yeah. So adventurer sprite. And then the other one is worker, which already is called worker sprite. Yeah. So let's try that. I did already multiply the task delay by the engine scale, because it was bothering me that I had to wait 2 seconds. I don't want these on the other sides. There we go. All right, go to monitors, increase game speed, grant most things, start some battles, see what happens. Oh wait, that's not enough to get this to trigger. We need burn to be on. Looking good. 0 orphan nodes, 0 errors. Let's also grant a bunch of items. We need customers to run out of money. Very hard to tell how much money they have when they're zipping around like that. 22, 49, and 63. All right, we'll increase it a little bit. We need you to run out of money. Let's add some workers in here. Make this go a little bit faster. Survey monies came through. Oh, cool. Thanks, Uber. I appreciate it. Thanks for the 200 bits. Oh, there. Just happened. No orphans, no errors. Nice. Now we just run this a little bit longer. This should test basically everything except for my characters are going to die. You know what I need to do? I need to make it so that the characters can just level up beyond 10, so that I don't need to click all these different buttons over here. There. How's that work? Are you winners now or are you losers? Winners so far. Oh, 1 error. Darn it. Cannot access a disposed object. The navigation system is trying to do this, huh? That's strange. And this is for a battler? That's strange for a lot of reasons. The navigation system shouldn't even be operating on battlers. Oh, the target is dead? Is that why? Destination? Target seeking component.emit reach. Why is projectile in attack? Yeah, because this is a projectile. And it must be that when it reaches its target, it's trying to do something and it can't. Yeah. Its target is already freed. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. What do we do about this though? If a target has been totally freed, then I guess any projectiles going to it should also be freed. Man, increasing the game speed kind of like jostled a bunch of bugs out of the tree here. Because normally I think this stuff wouldn't be possible. Maybe it would be. But the problem here is we have the mage and we have a bat. And the mage shoots a bunch of fireballs. But those fireballs have a travel time. So before one of the fireballs can reach the bat is killed. Oh, this only happens because of having another battler kill that bat first. So a fireball spawns, and as soon as it starts, the bat is killed. So by the time its travel time makes it reach it, the bat has faded out. This race condition actually isn't due to game speed. This race condition is due to having multiple adventurers in a party. And this is pretty interesting. I'm not totally sure what we should do about this. So yeah, problem. A mage shoots a fireball at a bat, but the bat is killed by another adventurer. It doesn't have to be another adventurer, but... or by lightning zaps, I guess. So the fireball tries... so the bat disappears and is freed. Okay, here's what I should probably do. We should probably just not free anything until the battle is done. How'd you make the arrow? That's something called Espanso doing that. I just type apostrophe R or L or U or UR or UL or something like that. So if you want those, if you want that set up, there's my whole repo of these. So that one's in symbols. And yeah, I've got things for a whole bunch of stuff, like the command symbol or Alt or Shift or yeah. Yeah, I think that would fix this. So solution number 1, don't free anything until the end of battle. And just mark that the spaces aren't being used, the slots aren't being used. Solution number 2, it's not due to a task delay number, no, yeah, not this one at least. So if we're going to free them, then we need some way of knowing that the target is invalid. So solution number 2 would be like delete projectiles on their way to freed targets. I don't like this, because this means that a fireball can just like disappear from view. Maybe, well, I don't really know what should happen in that case. Yeah, I guess either way this could be a little bit confusing, because there could be a scenario. Imagine this scenario. So like mage shoots fireball at bat. Bat dies before fireball reaches it. Skeleton is summoned where bat used to be. Fireball looks like it hits skeleton, but it was really going to bat. Yeah, so this could be a tiny problem. Maybe this is a reason to fade out projectiles that are going toward freed targets anyway. Although I guess you'd still have the same issue where like maybe the timing of this makes it so that, I guess, yeah, there's no way to really stop this from being a problem other than to make it so that you can't summon in the same spot for a certain amount of time. But this isn't a problem right now, and I don't really care too much about this. So yeah, either of these could work. If we don't free anything till the end of battle, then for really long battles, we could be taking up a lot of memory while we're waiting to free stuff. Why am I freeing anything while the battle's on? So the reason why is for summons, if, like, let's say you summon like 10 bats at once, it will fill all available slots. We need some way to know that a slot is freed up. So we like fully remove the battler. Well, the bat, I guess, in this case, from the battle. So remove plus free. That was why. The projectiles we need to target an area or cell for this to work. I see what you're saying, because I didn't really fully explain this. I guess what I'm trying to say here is when a projectile is created, it knows what its target is. And even if that target is dead, it still pursues where that target was. But it only is ever going to try to do damage to that target. So it's not like in a game like a Diablo style game where you shoot a fireball at an area of enemies and whoever happens to be there will get hit. So you only need to free the summons. I don't necessarily need to free them. I could just mark that their slot is unused. The reason why this was why I wanted to free them originally is because to get an empty slot, we go through all of the battlers on a team. So we would need to know that these are not battlers any longer, which is not that hard to do. We could just remove them from battlers and put them in some like needs to be freed section. Yeah. And I think the only problem here is if I'm not freeing everything until the end of the battle, that you could have a whole bunch of entities that don't get freed until the end. If the target is null when it reaches this location, could it find an enemy to damage? It could, but I just don't want the game to work that way. But the problem here isn't that it's null, it's that it doesn't exist anymore. So in the projectile itself, trying to access this target is a problem. So yeah, I think we have our two solutions here, and I'm just not sure which one I want to do exactly. Let me think about this one for a second. How would I even do this? I guess we have a list of projectiles, and projectiles have a target, and we can just get the ones with a particular target. But I guess the same problem is like the source might have been freed at some point. I think we'll just run into more and more issues if I do things this way. I think we should opt for solution number one. It's just less buggy. Yeah, I'm not super worried about the memory. All right, so if we're going to go with this solution, then we need to make sure we remove like disappeared enemies from battlers, but still track them so that we can free them later. And that'll be a post-break task. So I'll write that down. Where I left off, need to stop freeing entities mid-battle and instead free them all at the end. Make sure to remove them from battlers, but still track them somewhere. And write that the reason for this is because there are a lot of weird race conditions, e.g. a projectile being created on a valid enemy that disappears completely before the projectile can hit. The only other solution for that be to delete the projectile or null out the target. Well, not the only other solution, the main other solution, if the target disappears. The other way we could do that is make it so that like we null out the target but keep track of its location still, and anyway, it's not worthwhile to do. Do you think it's a bad design for the projectile to check that the source and target aren't freed? For it to check that they aren't freed? Checking if something is freed, I think, is just generally a problem. Like, there are very... Yeah, there are very weird edge cases that I think you'd have for something like that. Because you wouldn't be able to trust that anything is what it looks like anymore. Like if you look at projectile, I guess I'm speaking very abstractly here. You look at projectile and you see like, okay, it's got a source, makes sense, whatever shot the projectile. It's got a target, makes sense, whatever the projectile is going toward. If you can't ever trust that these things are still valid entities, then at any given point in all of your code, you're going to need to do something like if source has not been freed, then do something with source dot get position or whatever. Right, and then you're like, oh, but actually I need the target's position too, so target dot get position minus source dot get position. Then you have to be like, and also target has not been freed. Yeah, so at that point it's like you could have null, a proper value, and then freed, and it's like you just shouldn't have to think about all of that stuff. So the answer is yes to bad design pattern. Yeah, sorry, it was hard a little bit to answer the question only because it was bad to check that it isn't freed. And I probably got confused by the number of negatives. So yeah, I think we're on the same page. And that's why I want to apply this solution, but I need to take a quick break. So is it jump time? It's jump time. All right, I'll be back in a little bit. Again, for those who haven't seen this, just type join in Twitch chat and you can play. And the instructions are here. And I'll be back in a bit. Hey, everybody. Hey, Santo Teresa, you're doing pretty well. 2 games played, 2 wins. I closed the game. So let's tackle this task of not freeing until the end of a battle. So let's close out of all these tabs we have. There was a way to do this, right? Close this. Close all editors. Yeah. That way we don't need to say don't save to all of them. Then go to the battle system. And we want to keep track of like removed battlers. Private. Removed battlers. Battlers that have no chance of ever returning to the battle. These, we track these so that we don't call free in the middle of a battle, which can cause a bunch of race conditions. Like, well, I'll just say it can cause a bunch of issues, e.g. a projectile traveling toward a freed target. Is it usually better if you keep your tabs open? It might be, yeah. I don't, even if it is better, I feel like I don't want to keep those tabs open. It's just more mental load for me. I usually like having the things that I'm using open so that I can just switch between them. So now, instead of calling free everywhere, dispose we need to call free. We need to call this everywhere too, right? So this can cat with, actually if nothing's, okay, let's not worry about dispose just yet. Let's worry about the ones that are happening mid-battle. So this is remove battlers.add. So now we're not freeing it anymore. We don't free it here either. Removed battlers. Yeah, and a removed battler should never be in a dead battlers thing. Yeah. You can hide the tab bar. I don't only navigate through commands though. A lot of times I'll have like instance and battle system open and I'll just use the buttons on my mouse to switch between the tabs. But yeah, I don't actually know if Copilot does get worse if you close tabs. Don't use OneDrive to transfer files. Why not? I use OneDrive. I think if you're just using it for file transfer, it's probably slow, but it should be reliable. Oh yeah, this is now not gonna be a thing, right? What's the most iconic sandwich? The heavy sandwich. Sandwich. This one. Oh, it's like a semi 3D model on this. Neat. Or a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Trying to separate my 2 machines to their own network. Now I have files stuck in limbo and I can't get VM files out of a OneDrive path. Oh man, I'm sorry about that. Complex. If it makes you feel any better, you've come up with a very accurate Twitch name. Peanut butter jelly? But what kind of jelly? I feel like grape or strawberry. One of those two. If I know Nuka DeLuca, and I don't. Now I have to know. What's the jelly? Blueberry preserves. All right, that was way off. I don't think I've ever had a peanut butter and blueberry sandwich. All right, any other freeze being called? Just this one. Yeah, so this needs to be concatenated with the removed battlers. Yeah. This might work. I don't know. I didn't really put a lot of thought in this. Oh yeah, what happens with the components that get removed? Yeah, something needs to remove the components. This. This should probably happen. What should do this? I don't know what should do this. We need to We need to clean up all of the components that get removed. Also effects component. Oh wait, this is only called when something dies. Yeah, I don't think this is needed. We need to make sure that the component gets cleaned up though. There should be remove effect. Effect removed. Oh man. There's so much. Remove from entity, yeah. And this is what fire overrides. Okay, so something needs to know that this is removed. I think component, like base component, has something here about removed from, what is this called? Base component? It's not called base component, it's just called component. Okay, yeah, this has removed from entity, and this should be called for this, I think. Yeah, this should be here. Is this already here somewhere? No, it's just that I'm putting it after a private function. All right, so in this case, we want to call remove all effects. Give effects a chance to clean up. Yeah. Yeah, how hard it was to make a name. I like it though. It's a good name. It's pronounceable. So now we just need to remove all of the components, and that happens somewhere, but I do not remember where. Oh, here it is, right here. We get pre-delete, and then we remove all the components. Okay, maybe it'll work. Let's try it. You know, the more I think about development, what does that say? Removed Frosue. What? I don't know how that happened. I must have had my cursor there. Hopefully that was isolated to just that. Anyway, more I think about development, the more I think it really is like laying a brick wall. And I've said this before, but I haven't convinced myself of it. The way I look at this is with a brick wall, you know how many bricks it's going to take. And whatever, let's just say that's X bricks. So every brick you place is like obvious completion toward the wall. With coding, I think it's less obvious ahead of time how many bricks you're going to need. And yet, every time you spend any amount of time on a task, so if I spend an hour toward some task, even if that task isn't something I planned, that's still you laying a brick toward this wall, and you just can't tell when it's going to get completed. And originally, the way I looked at my development was, I want to lay bricks X and Y today. And if I didn't get those done, I felt like it was a failure of that day and I wasn't being productive. Something like this that came up, which is memory leaks that I'm trying to fix right now. It's important, but it's not a task I had planned for until I realized there were memory leaks. And originally, I think I would have been a little bummed by that. But now I'm just like, it needs to be done. It's still work, still building that wall. So I just need to convince myself of that. We need burn here, and then we need to run this. Let's speed this up. We already ran into some problems here. Can't access a disposed object, animated sprite, burn debuff. This implies I'm removing this twice. Yeah. Which I now understand why that's happening. Because effects component calls this when this is removed. And when something dies, it's also called. So remove all effects needs to delete the effects at the end. Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, well that should be easy. Effects not clear. Yeah, because we're no longer tracking it anymore. Oh wait, does it remove do that? It does remove that. Oh, so then how is this happening? Simply bricks you couldn't predict that needed laying. Yeah, pretty much. And they're bound to come up. I think unless you have a really, really tiny task like, write a script to add a bunch of numbers or something. It's like, okay, that you can probably predict is one brick, and you can probably even predict exactly how long that brick is going to take to lay. But yeah, for any large enough project, the bricks are unknown. I don't know how this is possible. It's happening because we've already tried disposing this, but the only place we could try disposing it. Wait, in this case, it is. Oh, this is a different problem. Oh, man. And I did this inside Navigation Agent, I think. Somehow. How did I do this? Yeah. If the entity was already disposed, then we don't have to do anything. So this is, I guess, what I would do everywhere that I try doing a queue free. So even in burn debuff, I would have the same thing. I would just do that. Why does this happen? Because this is a child. Okay, I see. Okay, so this is only a problem when an entity is no longer in the scene tree. Well, let's try this too then. I should really write a note about orphaned nodes. Notes about orphaned nodes. Write the function that lets you see what they are. That is, where is that? There it is, print orphan nodes. And write about how this stuff comes up. It's when you no longer have a reference. Actually, not even when you no longer have reference. It's whenever you have a node that exists but isn't in the scene tree. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Grant most things. Give my guy burn. Start a bunch of battles. Looks like there are lots of orphan nodes, but will they drop? Not entirely. All right, what is orphan? Oh, like everything. Oh, but there are also errors. Oh, am I running into so many problems here? Sudden death debuff. Value cannot be null. The entity doesn't exist anymore. We're removing effects, and when we remove the effect, we try killing the entity, but the entity might have been killed already. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to check if this thing is valid. This could be removed from the entity for two different reasons. One is because the battle is over, and the other is because the effect is done. So I guess what we really want here is like a duration was hit, which is really just a proc amount. I could just have made this. Let me take a look at this. Effect with lifetime is just a timed effect. A timed effect has an update and then has, if time remaining is less than or equal to 0. This could just be like a different event, and I think we probably should do that. Is Mac comfy for game development? Really, I don't think there's a very big difference between any of the operating systems when it comes to just your day-to-day work as a developer. It's going to be very different if you're trying to make, let's say, an iOS app on anything other than Mac OS. Like that's just tough. And I guess same thing if you're making like a Windows specific app from a non-Windows platform, that's going to be tough. But in general, games are not typically platform specific. I know a lot of them only launch on Windows. That doesn't mean they have to be on Windows. So yeah, I'm using the same program I would use on Windows. I am calling all the same APIs I'd be calling. Hey, Godzilla. So yeah, I feel like it's been comfortable enough. All right, we're gonna change this around a little bit. We're gonna make a public virtual void time. What do we call this? Time ran out. I don't know. Or like effect expired. Yeah, effect expired. Called when the effect's lifetime has run out. This exists so that you can differentiate between this and removed from entity. Let's see, does that work? What is this, effect dot removed from entity? Yeah, there we go. Which could be called when an entity is removed from the battle altogether. I use Unreal Engine on Mac. Yeah, and my guess, and I haven't used Unreal, but my guess is that your experience using it on Mac versus Windows versus Linux would all be pretty similar. So if you have some other reason to switch, I mean, that is probably more compelling. For example, the reasons I guess I have this in the FAQ somewhere, but like why Mac? I had a couple of reasons for switching, and they're not anything too crazy. That just, yeah. So I think the biggest one for me is if you're going to do development for an Apple platform, that having an Apple platform is, like I said, it is pretty much just necessary. Otherwise, you're like renting server time. It's just, there's not a good story for making iOS or Mac apps from Windows, unless it's some cross-platform thing anyway. And even then, you still need to sign it. So effect expired. Effect expired. This is what's going to happen here. Done. And now we want to override this, not the removed from entity thing. But this only takes in the battle system. Battle system, battle system. Which I don't even need. And then this is, I think, affected entity. Yeah. Okay. I think that'll fix that bug. I don't know. There's a lot. Is there anything else? Here we check if something's valid. Effect expired. Then what do we do on, wait a second. Oh, that was sudden death. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's try it out. All right. How we doing on orphan nodes? Waiting for battle to end. Nice, went down to 0. Haha. Looking good. Start a level 2 battle. Should be the same basic case. Should drop to 0, good. Now nodes, are nodes increasing? No. Why do we even have 551 of them though? We have like 5 characters, maybe 50 item displays. Maybe it counts tile map nodes? Because I think the entire scene tree can't be that big. I mean, I know we can just inspect it over here. But it thinks we have, oh, you can't use up and down? No, you can use up and down. Oh, I guess it's possible that we have that many. Yeah, okay. It's possible. Anyway, it's not a problem. All right, this is the thing I want to check though. Level 3 battle, because this is the most going on. And we should probably put points in everything just like we did before. Yeah, there's a problem. Battle system dispose. Can I access a disposed object? This is just directly there, 241. Oh, I see. Wait, maybe I don't see. I was gonna say maybe a battler just summoned could be a removed battler. But no, that should not be possible. So then how could we free something that's... Nothing else should free this thing. Unless I freed it from here, which I hope I didn't do. No, I didn't. Also, I guess this isn't really needed anymore. And this isn't even going to be called anymore. I don't know. I don't know what else could be freeing this thing. Something already disposed of this. And I just, from the stack trace, I can't tell. All I know is the dispose was called. It says cannot access a disposed object, and literally the only object there is that battler. Which means this was freed somehow. And the only thing I could have maybe thought is that, like I said, this is part of, there's a battler that's part of both of these lists. Because then when we concatenate these, this is just a list, not a hash set. So it doesn't constrain anything by uniqueness. So you could try calling free twice on something, but that would mean it would have to exist in both of these. And I just don't think that's possible. And we only ever add this here. Summoned by enemy ID. And then the only way they could get added to removed battlers is if they were already part of the battle. Oh, hey, Sentient Being. How are you liking Svelte? And could you put in some prints to debug? Yeah, definitely. And I'll have to do something like that if I can't figure this out just by looking at the code. So this is battlers to remove from previous stage. This would not have the battlers to be summoned. Every time we remove a battler, we should call both of these things. So I guess I should put in a function for this, private void remove battler. There we go. Now delete this, remove battler. Come on, there's one more place where this happens. Yeah, here. Seems fun. I like it so far. See how much I like it once I start building more with it. I think that's good if you're having a good experience with it so far. Because you never know how something's going to be 6 months down the line. So at least it's starting out well. Well, we could do a test really fast in dispose and check. Like, how do we do this? I guess if battlers just summoned contains battler and removed battlers contains battler, then throw an invalid operation exception. Battler will summon and removed. Okay, that should at least help us. Non-invocable. Oh my god, that's why, because I just forgot new. What am I pulling that from? Is that like a TypeScript memory? Do you not need new for that? I don't know where I'm getting that from. All right, put some points in. Unfortunately, I don't have a way of unlocking all the battles. So I've got to go through them all. Oh wait, I could just hit win battle, right? Yeah. Win. There we go. All right, so here something had gone wrong earlier. And maybe it's a race condition, maybe there's some randomness, and maybe it just happens every time. So it did not print out that error message. Did it? Nope. Which means that my hunch was wrong. Although we could have just done 2 hash set here and fixed that hunch anyway. But that hunch didn't matter. So somehow a battler is getting freed, and then I'm trying to free it another time. All right, I guess let's print out some things here. Freeing battler plus battler. This will print out its node ID. But there's actually a problem here because when we go to free it a second time, this is going to just fail. And even this is going to fail, I'm pretty sure. Maybe we put like if is instance valid. Except for that's not how that works. I don't remember how that works. Godot object. So if it's not valid, then print trying to free an already freed battler. And put a breakpoint there. Get rid of this one. Name can be simplified. Oh. Oh, because we're inside an object already. Yeah. And try running that. Today is so different from what I thought it would be. So different. All right, we just let this thing play out. Should eventually break in. Although I don't think we'll be able to get any information from this. So the battler in this case, we have its name, but it throws an exception. Everything's going to throw an exception. Yeah. This is what I was saying is we can't tell what's the problem here because we don't know what node this is. I think that's its RID that's showing. And yeah, I guess we don't have a way of getting that. Battler.get RID doesn't contain a definition. I don't even know what this should be. Godot. Let's see. Is there a get RID? No. Name, owner. Maybe, well, it inherits from object. Does object have something? Object has get instance ID. I'm pretty sure even that's going to fail though. Get instance ID. Through an exception, it's been disposed. Yeah. How do I get any information about this? ToString returns a string representing the object. Defaults a class name rid. Yeah, I want that rid. The resource ID. But we can't even call the ToString. Yeah. Wonder how you get information about this. Well, I guess, no, we can't even get the name, right? Yeah. I need to know when we've tried freeing this. How many of these are there? It's an enumerable, so just to list. Count 21. And how many did we get through? Yeah, they're all right here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. So we didn't free everything, even in this for loop yet. Yeah, that's true. Break it battler's exit tree. Yeah. But this still implies that something else is freeing this. And I don't know what else could be. Q free. It's only for the battler itself. The debuff frees the sprite. We free the instance here. It's Q freed though. Projectile frees itself. Yeah, weird. Okay, that's all the calls to Q free. Now what about to free? Yeah, I don't see any problems. Could this be getting called twice maybe? I guess we could try that. Disposing battle system. Yeah. Let's try that really fast, and then I'll do what Dark suggested. We will see this print multiple times because I need to win 2 battles in order to get to the 3rd battle, but we'll just clear the console. So we do grant most things, give the mage some stuff, start a battle, win, start a battle, win, then clear the console, and then start a battle and just increase the speed. Okay, this should only print out once. Yeah, it did only print out once. All right, I don't know. Let's go take a look at Battler. Yeah. Public override exit tree. Well, I guess we can call the base function still. Battler exited tree plus this. All right, can we also speed up some of this other stuff? This whole thing about not being able to go to certain battles, can we just set that to true by default? Where is that even stored? Town menu? Start level, there it is. Has 1 level 1 battle is true. Has 1 level 2 battle is true. And then town ready. I want to call grant most things, which is not a function that exists, I guess. Is it in the debug menu? Where is that? Here it is. Yeah, I want this to be called. So go to ready, put this here. We don't really need money. We don't really need the storeroom or this stuff. We just need hire random adventurers and level up adventurers. And then I need the mage to learn the burn skill. Easy way to do that. You got the stack trace on the breakpoint. Maybe we'll get the hint there. Oh, yeah, you're right. I could have... Well, wait, no. We know that it's dispose being called. We don't know what did the original free. That's the problem. I need to figure out where the original free is. All right, how do we learn a skill? I don't remember how to do that. Skill tree. Well, when you click a button, it does it. On skill pressed. So get an adventurer. Oh, and then get its abilities and set its level higher. Modify ability level. That's whatever. I'll just not do that. All right, let's try this out then. Hey, Joss. Yeah, if I have to manually click one thing, that's not so bad. Oh, not enough money? Oh my god. Oh, man. Where did I put that? Where did I put that? Level up adventure. Oh, I'm in the wrong file. I don't know how that happened. There it is. Yeah, so modify money. Yeah, just forgot that it takes money to level up your adventurers and to hire new ones. So this will give us level 10 of everything. Yep. And then we put some points in that and we just start our battle. Not enough money. Thanks, Joss. Thanks for the resub. Welcome back for half a year. So there's a bunch of battler exited tree here. But exiting the tree is not the same as being freed. So I guess we need to get the pre-delete notification. Because we're freeing, yeah, this is not a problem. But we do have that pre-delete notification. And maybe here we could get something. So if I put this in battler and I guess copy this whole function. And then just put this here and delete all of that. Battler got pre-delete notification. What a gigantic shame this is. I'm very curious to know what this problem is because I cannot figure it out from just looking at the code. I have one free. The dispose function is only being called that one time, and nothing else should be doing this. So what gives? this. Oh, there it goes. All right. So we are getting pre-delete notifications. This is for past stages, but we don't free them anymore. Trying to free an already freed battler. Where does this print out? Oh, that is not valid. But I can't see any information about it. Are any of okay, let's do this. Let's print these out, and then let's make these lines unique. And if we have 25 right now, if we have fewer than 25, then there is a duplicate. No, there's not. Maybe I'm approaching this from the wrong angle. Maybe I can't not be double freeing. I have to be freeing twice because we get to a point where an instance isn't valid here. Also, what is the disposing on this? Like, why would that ever be false? If disposing equals true, it's been called directly or indirectly by a user's code. If it equals false, it's been called by the runtime from the finalizer and should not reference other objects. Only unmanaged resources can be disposed. I guess I haven't been checking that. I don't know if that even makes a difference. Although this is only being called once. I'm very confused about what's going on. Also, this only happens for the large battles that take place. Or maybe it's only battles we lose and we happen to lose the large battles. I guess let's try that out. So I'll just do 1 and then lose. No, that's fine. What if I do 3 and then win? That's not a problem with that stuff. It's for whatever reason, it's... What is going on? Oh, wait, I might know what's happening. It might have to do with bats fading out when a battle ends. Or when a transition takes place or something. Yeah, it's probably that. Okay. Well, that gives me an idea at least. Now let's go take a look at that code. So battler, we end up calling disappear. Is that what's happening? gd.print disappear. The part that makes it seem like that couldn't happen is that we don't see that in here. Yeah, it's just coming from dispose. Oh, but I guess that's the first instance of deletion here. Battler disappeared. Just remove child, remove battler. Dead battlers are removed. I guess this should be from here to... Could we also do this? Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be something with those bats. But what would it be? There's nothing in here now that... Oh, wait. No, I'm doing the 2 hash set thing. I didn't think about it, but maybe something could have been in removed battlers twice. No, it's a hash set to begin with. Okay, never mind. That's not possible. Yeah, but this would have doubly made it not possible. Oh, that could have been a good idea. Okay, well, there's one other thing we can do. I just thought about this. Yeah. let's go do this. Private read-only dictionary of battler to a string. Battler to rid. Or battler to name or whatever. Yeah. All right. This is going to do it. Now, whenever we add a battler, we store this. Cannot convert from node to, oh yeah, whatever, fine, node. Am I casting hash set to hash set there in that loop? I was concatenating two different hash sets. So each hash set has unique values, but the combination of the two might not, which is why I make sure it's a hash set again. So that way, if something were in both of these, which they couldn't be anyway, then it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't make a difference. All right, so if instance is not valid, I guess let's just print freeing battler plus battler to name battler. Yeah, and this is where we really want this thing to print out, I guess. And maybe this won't work anyway, but let's take a look. Let's try it out. I like the thought that there's a puzzle here, and I'm pretty sure we're going to solve it. I just can't think of what it would be, and it's taken us quite a long time to try to solve it. So it'll break in as soon as this phase is done. It didn't. Okay, so there's something more specific than what we saw. What? What is it? I guess this doesn't always happen? Why is it not happening at all now, though? I guess I didn't get the burn skill, but I don't know if that matters. Maybe it's only at a certain speed that this happens? Wow. Well, if it is a certain speed thing, then it's almost certainly got to be... No, no, it can't be that. Yeah, I don't know. It definitely looked like it had to do with summons, though. It's just not happening anymore. Did I somehow just fix it? I don't think that's possible. I only added in a dictionary. All right, let's close out of these instances that we have running. Maybe I'm just running the wrong version of the game or something. I don't know. Yeah, I probably was running the wrong version of the game. Oh man, I'm not paying attention anymore, huh? All right, does this cause the problem? There's no error there. Yeah, there's no error. How bizarre. What would be different between these fights? I guess just the choice of targets and everything. But it's not happening anymore. Strange. Yeah, it's still not happening. I couldn't have just fixed this. I couldn't have, right? Like, maybe there's something about adding this to a dictionary where now there's a valid reference to something when previously there wasn't. Oh, wait. I did change something. I changed disappear to call remove battler. Yeah. Yeah, this did something different before. I don't remember what. Okay, let's Command Z the whole thing. I want to see what this function said. There. Okay, so this is what we had. Copy paste this into a new thing and then redo everything. And then take a look at this compared to what we had. All right, so previously, Battler disappeared was not doing one of these lines of code. Which one? This one. Right? No, wait, no. Other way around. Remove Battler wasn't removing the node. Was removing them from dead battlers. Dead battlers shouldn't matter. Okay, it might just be this. It might be that it was in the scene tree and then we tried freeing it again. Yeah, I think that's it. I think if we delete this line, we'll cause bugs. I think that's everything. Wow. Yeah. All right. That was tough. I thought I was calling free, but it's not that I was calling it. It's that Godot was calling it. Well, Godot was calling it as a result of me. But yeah, now if I do this, we should hit this bug immediately, right? Well, when I say immediately, I mean when the battle ends. Yep. Yep. Problem solved. Okay. Well, whatever. At least we figured it out. Cool. So now let's delete all those gd.prints that we have. This. This is all the stuff that we have to free because it wouldn't be in the scene tree. So it's free everything that isn't in the scene tree. Yeah. So let's just put a, what do we call this? A hash set of nodes, battlers not in scene tree equals this. That had the right suggestion and then I moved. There. Collection can be simplified. This makes a hash set? Oh yeah, I guess because it knows it's a hash set. Yeah. Hey, C-Dad. How's your Friday going? I assume there's an audience behind you right now. In which case, hi, audience. All right. Oh, what a pain that was. There is. Nuka DeLuca also says hi, audience. Oh boy. Yeah, I've been working on a problem pretty much all morning, which there's no way to even show this off, I guess, but I finally figured it out and it feels good. And now we need to clean a whole bunch of things up. But yeah, I can show you this new aspect of the game. Wait for it. Because in the last 2 days, I have made it so that characters can summon other characters. Yeah. So now we have this character can summon bats. Woo. Anyway, that's it. Yeah. All right. So I guess we still need to test a couple of things here. So test having tons of battles with all of the skills set to max. Generally remember the overlook with methods. You could what your object-oriented programming? I think you're just saying remember what you coded. Because I was gonna say I could offer suggestions maybe, but I'm not totally sure what the problem is. The way I look at this whole process from earlier, whenever you have a problem in your code, so you end up with a bug, it's usually pretty obvious what the bug is. Like, hey, the program's crashing, or there should be an item here and it's not there. It's like, okay, that's the what. Then you try to figure out the why and then the how to fix it. For the why, I feel like this process is always riddled with assumptions. When you write your code, you of course think that you're not writing in bugs or else you would stop it from happening when you write it. So you have an assumption in your head already of like, well, here's what I intended for all of this. And it's usually from some complex interactions between systems. And in this case, that's kind of what was happening. Like Godot is tracking this node and I'm then freeing nodes. And I thought I was freeing different nodes from the one that this is tracking and it wasn't. Oh, wish I could remember what I coded. I see. I don't think you necessarily need to remember what you coded. And whenever you're working on a gigantic project, this is bound to happen where there's no way you know the whole code base. It's like before this, I was working on Android Studio, and Android Studio alone is, I don't know, millions of lines of code. And again, there's no way you can know what every single thing does or where people aren't following conventions a certain way. And ideally, you know how to figure those things out, or you know someone else who knows those things. When it's your own project, I guess there is no one else. And then if you don't remember what you wrote, then you've got to at least have the ability to figure out what you wrote. And that's where writing maintainable code can help, writing some documentation can help, but also just kind of doing things in a consistent way. I guess that's maintainable code. Yeah. So Godot will free everything that's already in the scene tree. So we just need to free everything that's not in the scene tree. And that may sound like an overly verbose comment, but this has caused a lot of hassle today. I'm still doing documentation, X to do, but your formatting is better. Is this VS Code or Studio? This is VS Code. I try to put a lot of the task information now inside of GitHub projects. GitHub projects is free to use, so nothing stops anyone from just making a repo and doing this sort of thing. And this way we can see all the tasks that came up or bugs that we need to fix or really anything like that. So I really like this system, and we do keep track of like, okay, what are we working on? And I'm on prototype summons right now. And after that, we've got a couple of tasks, which I was hoping to get to today, which maybe we will. Yeah. But hey, feel free to take as much of the system as you want. I mean, you can see how I'm organizing this, and none of it is paid software. And even if this were paid, I guess you could just write this anywhere. All right, let's try this out. How do I access this on GitHub? Sorry, I didn't hear. So you just need to make any repo and then go to projects inside that repo. Or no, maybe you don't even need to make a repo necessarily. But I think it helps to have the project be backed by a repo. So when I go into this, for example, and I go and try to make a new task. So I click add item. The first thing it says is start typing to create a draft, or type # to select a repository. So I type a # and select Skeleseller. And that way, what it's going to do is it's going to make an issue inside of this repo. And what that lets you do is then you can go look through all of your issues and see the tasks that you have, and then look at your project to see where you set those tasks and to whom you assign them. So I find that to be a pretty helpful workflow. All right, the last thing I wanted to test here was, let's just restart this thing. Last thing I wanted to test is just click a bunch of stuff, see if anything bad happens. That's pretty much it. All right, so we go over to this and click this, and then apply a whole bunch of skills. We're just gonna grant a bunch of points and try this out. I think it's mostly that burn skill. All right, so we just let this run and we see if there are any problems. Orphan node should always go back down to 0 at the end of all of this, and there should be no red anywhere. Dropped right to 0, no red, we're looking good. Just gonna do that a bunch of times. Feel like your documentation goals reminds your memory. It does, yeah. And I think part of the documentation is like when you're writing out a task, you need to at least even figure out how to describe that task. And in describing it, I think sometimes you look back at your code, everything looks like it's going well. Yeah. And this is quite a stress test of all the systems in the game. In fact, especially these summons. Like I said, this is something new. I just put this stuff in, and I added in some parameters to customize summons. You can make them disappear at the end of the stage or persist. You can make them targetable or untargetable. You can make them die after a certain amount of time. You don't need a repo for projects, but I find that they're better when they're backed by a repo, because then they turn into issues. Otherwise, they're just, you lose something by not having them be issues. I don't remember what it is, though. Yeah, this is all working. Ooh, what a morning. What a morning. All right, I'm not going to keep clicking this a million times. I think I'm going to stop there. But yeah, it looks like everything's working. The last thing I'll do is just click lose battles. Yeah, that's working too. Nice. Yeah, so no orphan nodes anymore. And let's now go clean up the code and see what it takes. By the way, I moved this bar over here. If anyone's like, why is this over there now? Because when it's on the left, you bump the code to the right, and I didn't like doing that. Whereas when it's on the right, you're not really obscuring anything. So that's why I moved it. All right, what do we change? We renamed this, but not for any particular reason. It was just in case something leaked that I wanted to be able to tell what leaked. So I guess we could check this in alongside adventurer. Yeah, that's the only change. Okay, so this is just rename a sprite. And then we did the same thing somewhere else, didn't we? No, maybe we didn't. Okay, so rename adventurer sprite. This is just to make leak detection easier, but I don't think it'll ever be a problem. So this is very minor. Yeah. Long-term memory beats logical reasoning and adding stuff, which is short-term memory, so it refreshes the brain. I don't know if I'd say long-term memory beats logical reasoning. I think your logical reasoning should always be sound. And if you have good logical reasoning, you can figure out practically any other problem. Like, let's say I came back to this code base 10 years from now. I think I'd still be able to find bugs, and I would probably remember nothing about the code base. But yeah. Neat idea moving the panel to the right. Why haven't I thought of that? See, this is called being an influencer. I'm moving people's windows. Should be solid. Yeah. I think we're on the same page. Okay, so this does not need to be checked in. Burn debuff. Yeah, I still think this is a weird way of doing things. Maybe there's a better way. When does this even happen? When we free an entity and it causes this whole chain of stuff. But it had to be in the scene tree. Yeah, whatever. I think this is fine. This is a good change. Yeah, this is a good change. This is all part of the fixing leaks, though. What's this now? Yeah. This is good. When does it even happen? Example in action right here. Yeah, if you don't know, I think it should generally be a comment in code. I think that if you have something like int x equals 5, you know, y equals x plus 2, if you wrote something here like add 2, this is a bad comment, right? But if you have something like whatever, like entity dot remove buffs, and you're like remove buffs so that entities enter the stage with no effects on them or something like that. Like the why can be really helpful. And that's where it's like, well, you have the ability to just add the documentation right into code. This we don't need anymore. This we needed. This was a comment change. That's totally fine. This is good. Yep. That's good. Delete that. Yeah. So remove battler. I want to be clear. This is like removes the battler from the battle completely. This makes them not take up a slot anymore and generally not be revivable. Yeah. Hey, Banana. I said generally not be revivable. Why do I say that? Technically, nothing stops you from reviving a battler here. It's just they wouldn't be targetable. Yeah. Not take up a slot anymore and not be findable as a target, meaning nothing could revive them without special code. Yeah. So battler disappeared should actually just be gone. This should just be remove battler. And I probably should rename it from on disappeared. That's kind of stupid. Yeah. What's a better name for that? Rename on disappeared to on delete from battle or on remove from battle. Yeah, probably something like that. On removed, maybe. Anything else here? No, that's good. All right, what about battler? This we don't need. And this is questionable. I'm not actually certain that we need this. What if we didn't have this? Yeah, now I know this function has no reason to exist, but I want to try this out really fast. Use mouse one for moving around. I think learning the commonly used hotkeys is really important. The JS game streams, yeah. I think the commonly used hotkeys help quite a lot because it's like, well, they're commonly used, then it means that you benefit the most by learning those. What was I doing? I needed to test entities disappearing. Yeah. So technically this should be testing it just fine. Yes, and it probably is. And this also probably indicates that we don't need that code. It doesn't hurt to have it, except that it's extra code. So I feel like I should delete it, yeah. Now this isn't needed, but for what reason? Because if we remove an entity twice, it doesn't matter. That's probably why. Remove battler. We remove them from that. That's not going to do anything. We're going to remove this. That's not going to do anything. That's not going to do anything. And that's a hash set, so it won't do anything. Yeah. So this is just safe to call multiple times. Neat. Would you say this game C# flows easier than your JS browser game? Okay, so JavaScript for big projects is bad. You need static typing for big projects to avoid an entire class of bugs. So I will not use JavaScript again for big projects. Using it for a very small project, and small is in the eye of the beholder here, but like let's say you need to, whatever, you need an interface with your browser and you just need something quick to change some elements around. Okay, sure, use JavaScript, that's fine. I generally opt for TypeScript, but if it's, if you're writing like 10 lines of code, who cares? The reason why I say that is because almost anybody can examine a small amount of code and tell if there's a bug. You can't generally examine, 10,000 lines of code and tell if there's a bug. So is this easier? Yes. But I think it's easier just because the choice of language for the last game was not very good. Yeah. And I think the other thing is JavaScript is the target of some languages. Like TypeScript does not exist as a runtime. It turns into JavaScript. And like, yeah, that's okay. I don't find a problem with that generally. I think it can affect your debugging process, but ideally you're debugging with source maps and you can tell what TypeScript you wrote. Where did I leave off with this? Oh yeah, it was battler. Battler doesn't need this tween stuff because it's safe to call this multiple times, which means I should also add a comment saying that it's safe to call it multiple times. Yeah. Battle system. This is safe to call multiple times with the same entity. Yeah. Okay, next up is debug menu. What do we change here? Nothing. So delete you. Town, this should not be checked in. This is just to give me all the adventures and stuff, and this should not be checked in. Yeah, wow. So address, orphaned nodes. I think that's all we did. Yeah. So did we ever free things during a battle? Was there ever the word free on the left side over here? Yes. Okay. We now no longer free nodes during a battle because of how many issues that can cause. And timed effect has a special event for when the effect ends so that you can differentiate that from when the effect is removed for other reasons, e.g. the entity being freed. Okay, now here's the problem with having a hyphenated list is that you wrap the line, but then you need to put spaces here, and then that requires you to wrap the line, which then changes the spacing. So you need to manually do this. There. Nice. Ooh, what a morning. What a morning. Is that everything? That is everything. All right, so we just have a rename. I'm gonna do a couple of these tasks because they're not that long, but I really should probably go get lunch pretty soon. All right, so rename on disappeared. Disappeared. So this is, well, it's kind of silly because it's called disappears when dead. So we need to rename that too, right? Indicates that an entity disappears. Maybe it's fine. Yeah, maybe it's fine. I don't think I really care that much. Disappeared. Yeah, I think it's okay. All right, I'm not gonna do that. But I will write the note about orphan nodes. So do we have anything written about orphans? No, we do not. Do we have a troubleshooting section? How do we even get to our outline? Here it is. Troubleshooting. Yes, cool. Finding orphaned nodes. So orphaned nodes are just nodes that were created but do not exist in the scene tree, meaning Godot won't know to free them. Won't know when to free them, I guess. Godot, does Godot free orphan node? It should know about reference counting, and it should know when this thing gets disposed. Hmm. Hang on unexpectedly. I get that it's possible to remove a scene from the scene tree and add it back later, but I guess what I'm saying is let's say you do something like this, like node equals whatever, create node, and this is all inside a function, void poo. So this will go out of scope, goes out of scope, has no reference, and then C# garbage collects it. Does that not free the node then? Because I guess it can't be freed if it's even showing as an orphan. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess Godot wouldn't show it because it wouldn't have reference to it in memory anymore, so it must still exist. Won't know when to free them, even in C# when their references go out of scope, when their last references is removed. Yeah, so orphans on their own aren't a problem. Maybe you want a node in memory so that you don't need to create it. I'll say it like this: a pool of nodes in memory that you can reuse. However, when you don't want them, then here's what you can do. Step 1, use print orphan nodes to find out which nodes are orphans. This will... Do I have the output of this anymore? I probably... Ooh, I do. Nice. Yeah. This will print something like this, so make sure to name your nodes. And this is... There we go. Okay, and then what's the other thing I wanted to say? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I want them. You can use to find out to find them. Yeah. Cool. Oh yeah, look at the monitors tab. That's good. Yeah. To even know that to even know whether you have orphans, you can look at debugger monitors orphan nodes. Yeah. Just take a picture of this. All right, debugger monitors orphan nodes. There we go. The monitor. There. Cool. Cool. Notes written. All right, so I think that's it for the summon tasks. We can publish a branch and then close out the task. Yeah. All right, let's publish this then. We just press this button, yeah. And now we make a PR out of it. Add summons. So note that nothing actually uses the summons right now. You would have to add all adventure data debug to an adventurer or to a character to get it to be used. And then the other thing is there are some ways you can modify this. That ability has this code CS. I gotta tab this back. Which shows the features that I made. Ability to have a summon persist beyond the current stage. Ability to make a summon untargetable by enemies. And ability to have a summon only live for so many seconds. Yeah. All right, create pull request. Now watch this code review. You ready? Looks good. Okay, now we're gonna merge it. This is taking longer than the code review did. Seriously? Well, fine. We'll sit around and wait then for this button to light up. What is this even doing? Setup systems doesn't need null conditional. Where was that? Instance, setup systems. Doesn't need null conditional. Is there another setup system somewhere? Yeah, what are you talking about? There's no null check in here, right? I don't even see a question mark. Oh, you have old code. Okay, got it. Yeah. I still can't merge this, huh? Is some part of GitHub down? What? The pipe is covering what I'm trying to read here. Why is this graphic gigantic? Oh, they don't scale it with the... Delays in action. Okay. I was just trying to read what that said. Actions runs triggered by pull requests are experiencing start delays. All right, that's recent, right? Yeah. All right. Well, then fine. We have to wait. And then I have to close out the task. Oh, I guess I could write that right in here, maybe. Fixes for 140. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll just write this down. Merge this, and then switch to main locally. So this will all be afternoon stuff, I guess. Oh boy. Yeah, there is quite a lot. Spent most of the morning looking at memory leaks, or not memory leaks, I guess orphan nodes, and how to properly free everything. Mm. Yeah. Mm. This could take a while. So then let's just wait till after lunch, I guess. Anything else? Read me. This needs to go up here. Oh yeah, tackle a fun task. Remember when I said I wanted to do that back on like Monday? Although I sort of ended up doing that. I wanted to prepare for having a summoner in the game. I'm still torn on how I want the summoner to work. I think there are 3 general ways. So a summoner class could have something like summon once at the beginning of battle, summon once every so often, or maybe like summon once per battle stage. And in this case, it would be make the summons relatively weak or make them die after a certain amount of time, after like a set amount of time. So I don't know which one of these I want, and we could just have multiple summoner classes. Like I like the idea of this one once at the beginning of a battle. Like this reminds me of what was this called? Oh, I don't remember the name of this. Final Fantasy 11 job names. What was the some dragon something? Dragoon. Okay, yeah, it reminds me of the Dragoon from Final Fantasy 11. It had a wyvern, and at least originally, I think you could only summon this once every 2 hours. And if it lived, it could just stay alive forever. But if it died, then you had to wait sometimes 2 hours for it to come back. So I kind of like that idea of like, hey, you've got one companion summon. And maybe that's what we end up doing. But these once every so often would be like, like a skeleton or a bat or something where, yeah, you summon them 1 or 2 of them at a time and they live for a few seconds, or maybe they have like 2 HP and they just die. Yeah, yeah, I gotta look at the skeletons. Although those could be enemies, they could be summons, I'm not sure. What do you need to make a website? That is a very, very open-ended question because it used to be that I would say something like you need to know some combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And now it's you could just use a site builder. So there are site builders like Wix or whatever out there where you just drag and drop components and you could have a website up. So I don't know what exactly you want to do, but you could go the more technical route, you could go the less technical route, and you can go anywhere in between. So yeah. Anyway, not sure what I want to do for this. I'll have to think about this. Summoner question mark? Need to figure out their skill set. I kind of want to plan this. Although I don't want to do it now. I'm kind of just killing time for this, but I really should just go eat food. Yeah, I've been online for 3.5 hours. So let's go take a lunch break for about an hour, and then I'll come back for maybe 3 hours afterward. We've got more guests than normal, and I don't know when everyone is free or is planning to do stuff. So right now it's 12, but if I take lunch for an hour and then work for 3 hours, it would be like 4 p.m. I think that'll be fine. Hey, Ander. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back in about an hour, and we'll just keep working on something here. I might design a new character class. I might add in some new graphics. I might just work on something, whatever. We'll figure it out. Hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Bye.